Hello and welcome back to Serie A Spotlight. We're your hosts Jake
and Matt.
You know what time it is!
I can't tell you guys enough how much you've been my internal monologue when thinking about football for the last year.
Yes, amazing! We get to record while drinking some wine. Jake and I will have a very special soft spot for Salernitana.
We love him.
We love him. Stop zooming in on Allegri's face, bro. You're gonna make
How
me
are you
break.
exposing me?
Because you're gonna make me break, man.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Serie A Spotlight. This is episode 202 and we're your hosts Jake
And Matt.
here to run you through all the action of matchday 17 in Serie A.
We're back. Hope you didn't miss us too much. We took the week off because there's been a crazy influenza going around in Malta and I think across the Mediterranean as well, which hit us pretty badly. And I remember I was already sick the week before, so I've been quite bad for 2 to 3 weeks now.
Yes.
So sorry for missing the last episode, guys, but we're back.
It's an extremely relentless flu because I was unwell for easily 10 days. 10 days easily
Yeah. And the thing about the December period is you're unwell, but you have to be drinking, and you have to be out and with people doing stuff. You're not gonna miss out on,
It's brutal.
And my girlfriend's birthday was on the 20th, so that's essentially the 20th all the way to the 31st. Drunk, but anyway, we're back, guys. We did miss a few things that we would have loved to discuss with you. Which is obviously Napoli winning the Supercoppa Italiana.
Congratulations!
Whoa! Congrats to Napoli.
Congrats
Yes.
to all our Napoli patrons.
Yeah, it's a nice trophy to win.
It is.
It lost a lot of its charm being in Saudi and whatever, but we enjoyed that.
Can we talk about that a bit, man? Can we talk about that a bit? The atmosphere was a joke, and Inter would miss a penalty, and it would zoom in on the crowd, and people in Inter kits are celebrating. They have no idea what's going on. No idea what's going on. And while the game is being played, silence, and one guy going, Forza Inter! Forza Inter!
and
in silence. It was like a friendly.
Everyone's a plastic supporter. Maybe there are a few actual supporters, but no one's
It's not even about
in
that.
Inter against Bologna, people fucking that bleed rosso blue against people that bleed nerazzurro. Not people who are just there to see Lautaro Martinez and Barella. You know what I mean?
It would be so hype, this competition, if it were played in Italy. And apparently next year it's going to be played in the USA or Canada.
Considering the US, and also considering going back to just the final format. But obviously it's still to be decided. So
yes,
but the competition was a fun watch. I thought Napoli in their first game, I thought they deserved win against Milan.
Yes, they
Milan
were much better.
Did some rotation with Yashari starting in there.
The
winter really stood out like a sore thumb. I thought Højlund was excellent, but it was easy. Against the winter, I thought the winter really stands out as uncomfortable.
And this is something that we're saying. I mean, Ciao is no Nesta, but and for 40 million, okay, sure, you might be tempted to sell him, but replacing him with someone who doesn't have that much experience, who had one season with Genoa as a starter and made quite a few mistakes, clumsy mistakes, giving away penalties with Genoa as well. It just wasn't the move, eh?
No.
Especially when you're planning on playing a back three, you need someone with more experience, someone sturdier, because as it stands right now, Milan need a centre back because De Winter has shown that he cannot be relied upon.
Exactly, and on the other hand,
nothing against him. I mean, he's young; it's totally natural. But
he's very young in Italian football. But Napoli definitely don't need a striker. Now Napoli are spoiled for choice when it comes to strikers. I thought Højlund was excellent all competition. And then there was the Inter against Bologna game that just stood out because of the crazy penalty shootout that took place.
Those were some awful penalties by Inter.
Terrible penalties. And let me tell you what, it's almost like these teams are going to Saudi Arabia and are just putting on a shit show every time. Even last season, the games really weren't okay. There was some great comebacks by Milan, but the quality of football per se, it's a terrible ad for Serie A. And I don't think Saudi are gonna accept. I think they're losing money simply.
I have no idea. I don't know if they're losing or making money. I'm sure they're making, to be honest. I mean, they're paying.
I don't know about that, bro. The
amount
stadium
of money
was
they're
fucking
splashing
empty,
out.
bro. The stadium was empty. But anyway, so again, congratulations to Napoli, of
Yes.
course. Another thing that we missed while we were away, and I really want to apologize for Viola fans. We have nothing against you, but we did miss Fiorentina's one and only win of the season thus far. Congratulations to Fiorentina. We shouldn't really be congratulating them, but it was a 5-1 win against Udinese, a Moise Kean doppietta, and I thought they were fun to watch in that game.
They were. It only took an early red card for them to manage a victory.
Yeah.
And they blew them out of the water. And I really thought that this was going to be like a resurgence for Fiorentina, but they're back to their usual selves.
Yeah.
As they've just lost against Parma.
Exactly, and at the end of the day, guys, that's why we're here. We're going to be breaking down match day 17 in Serie A. I think we can jump into it,
Yes.
brother. I'll just go through the rundown real quick. We're of course going to start with the Sunday 8:45 fixture between Atalanta and Inter, where Inter won 1-0 to remain top of the table. And just to continue the streak that they have against Atalanta, it almost feels like they are the bogey team of Atalanta. Inter are always beating Atalanta.
Yes, I have some interesting stats about that to come later on.
I'm sure our listeners are very, very excited to hear from the statsman himself and the historian, of course. Milan 3, Verona 0. I mean, a super dominant display by Milan, and Chris Nkunku doppietta, which don't get used to saying. I don't think
the one of Torino.
No, sorry, Christopher Alan Kunku.
Yes, apparently he's got an Ala in his name.
Because since he scored, now we got to see his name coming up.
It's like when you say, he scored a goal a la Messi. Christopher scored a goal a la Kunku.
Alan Kunku. Excellent. No, good for him. And currently, apparently, Milan are talks with Fenerbahce to offload him already.
And lots of rumours going around. I'm sure we'll discuss some of them organically.
Cremonese 0, Napoli 2. Napoli once again keeping up the pressure and still looking to remain in that top race for the Scudetto. It is very much between those three teams at the moment. Pisa 0, Juve 2, in a match where Juve struggled a lot throughout the game. It was from the 75th minute onwards where they started to find a little bit of success. They brought on Zegrova, had a few good attempts and really brought the team back into the game. But it's always important just to get the 3 points. Roma 3, Genoa 1. And that was the De Rossi return to the Olimpico, and it was beautiful. The scenes were amazing. De Rossi actually had to apologize. He's like, I'm so sorry, I looked pissed off when you guys were giving me that beautiful kind of ceremony, because they didn't manage to give him a good send off, of course, because he was sacked. So they planned to give him a good send off now, but he was obviously livid because his team had just got they got killed in the first half and they lost 3-1.
And very clumsy mistakes as well that led to the goals too. You have Vasquez heading the ball back, playing Sulek through on goal. You have Malinovsky trying to hold the ball up and losing it, playing for the foul, but obviously there was no foul. So they just scored. It was really messy.
No, god-awful performance by Genoa. We'll then jump to Lecce 0, Como 3. Very good performance by Como. Good to see them bounce back after a little, after 2 losses really to Inter and Roma. But they're back now. Nico Paz back on the score sheet. Ramon and Duvikas at the end with a brilliant finish. Bologna 1, Sassuolo 1 in a derby, actually. Sassuolo, the club Sassuolo is from Bologna, however their stadium is in Modena, hence why there aren't many supporters that make the trip every week really. But
it was Sassuolo had the edge in this game. They were a little bit better. Bologna, as usual, dominated possession, but they looked a little bit tired compared to Sassuolo. And Sassuolo hit on the break at the end. They had 3 clear-cut chances. They actually could have beaten Bologna here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excited to speak about that as always. Udinese 1, Lazio 1 was another very good game, and once again Lazio feel hard done by in this game because the equalizer. Apparently the ball hit Keenan Davis somewhere in the arm.
It's a stretch.
More of that to come, but you guys are going to need to get a bit more inventive with If there are Lazio fans listening.
The thing is,
jeez, man.
Lazio, it's true with the calls. You've been unlucky, and it's true
Yes,
that there's this whole thing that now Lazio have requested a meeting with the refereeing body, with the association, to discuss the recent calls that haven't gone their way, or that have gone against them, rather.
Those 2 isolated incidents.
However, you should be doing better. If you play better, it won't go down to these fine margins. But I understand that, Italian football often goes down to the wire. But if you're complaining to this extent about a handball that hit Davis's hand, clearly, in my opinion, his arm was against his body.
Was against the body.
And then enough time and touches passed exactly between that moment and the goal. So you can't even go to VAR. It's the rule. So I feel like now it's just getting a bit ridiculous.
There was the Pavlovic handball, which they were upset about as well recently. But you already know. You already know that. But anyway, we'll then jump to Torino 1, Cagliari 2, where there actually was a bizarre call over here. There was a clear penalty.
Yes, this one was really weird because Indrissi was clean through. The keeper rushes out and gets his hand to the ball, but while he's making the save to the ball, we have a video, we'll pull this up later. His leg is raised and he kicks Indrissi and drops him, and then the referee
studs up.
And then the referee says, there was no offside, so it will be a drop ball. Like what? We'll discuss that later on.
Yes, but good win for Cagliari, who recently really started racking up their victories. 2 very important victories for Cagliari recently. I believe they're on 4 wins now and continuing to separate themselves from the relegation battle. We'll then end things off with Parma 1, Fiorentina 0. Fiorentina back to losing ways after a very momentary spike over there. Yes, beautiful kit. Jake is wearing a Parma kit. Of course, guys, next week or the week after, whenever the gifts arrive, Jake and I, of course, will be exchanging gifts as we do every Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas to all of you.
Mystery player kit to each other. So
it's always fun, the unboxing on here. Show them who you've got. Actually, guys, take a guess in the comments as to who is on the back of Matthew's vintage Milan kit.
Yes, I got
take a guess who's on the back of mine. Actually, you might know already because if you're a regular listener or viewer, but do let us know. We'll reply in the comments and let you know who it actually is, or if you're right or wrong.
Exactly. Let's address our predictions. Of course, they did not relate to this week, but they related to last week's action.
Congratulations, bro. You got 1 prediction correct.
Fuck yes.
While I got 2 correct only.
No, you got 3. You got 3.
Okay. 3 correct. So that's 3-1. That makes me the winner and takes us to a total of 3-1.
Exactly.
Running away with it.
Running away with it. It's Matchday 17, bro. There's until 38. This guy has Milan 2005 written all over him. Celebrating at halftime. Goal of the week. Well, we have the same goal of the week, and I thought it was quite frankly...
Yes, no-brainer, this one.
Well, this is the kind of goal that makes that Arabic commentator go, it was exactly that kind of goal, because Kiliksoy gets the ball from half of his half.
Yes.
Half of his half. When he's running, he has one thing in mind. Where am I going to pass the ball? He ends up scoring. From there, he goes. You guys are seeing the visual on top of us right now. Look where he starts his run from. Look what situation he ends up going past in between 2 defenders with a great piece of skill. He chops in and cuts out really quickly to get past those 2 players. Feints a shot and sends a defender fucking I don't know where. Cuts inside and curls it into the bottom corner.
Sensational.
With a fucking banger. And he wasn't looking to do that. He's looking at players, telling them where to run, trying to pull off a pass.
He had to. And you could see from his body language that he was trying to play the pass. And in that second screenshot, you can see, don't get it twisted. No one gets anywhere near him. No one makes contact with the ball. He's so clean with it, the way he goes around them. Remember that Kilicsoy is a player that we actually covered in our season preview. He is the third choice striker, funnily enough, of Cagliari. He's on loan from Besiktas, and he is doing very, very well now. That's his second goal of the season. He already has 4 appearances for Turkey. He's 20 years old. 5'10", of course. More to come of him. He's one of Turkey's highest rated talents right now, and I can see why. He's brilliant.
I mean, that was a fantastic goal.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I've got him on my Fanta, but let's be real, when am I ever going to play him?
I mean,
the names I have in front of him, they're too tempting.
But are you a names guy or are you a fucking fixtures guy? You know what I mean? There are names guys, there are fixtures guys. You have to be a fixture guy. I'm doing terribly. So. I really shot
Speaking
down
of, we should actually... no, we'll get to it.
We'll get to that, don't worry. So, before we get into anything, guys, of course, Benevo Bid, our media partners, who are very grateful to have by our side supporting us week in, week out. Check out our link in bio to get to bid on autographed items from top players, including match-issued kits, where most of the proceeds go to charity, and they do have a fucking wild selection. So go have a look. I can guarantee you there's one of your favorite players in history with a signed kit there, ready just for you to bid and collect. So check out our link in bio and show them some love. Also, follow them on their socials. Actually, over there you could see the authenticity, because you get to see the players actually signing the kits. If you're new here, make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube, and rate us 5 stars on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. We do weekly episodes covering every single match, every single team, every single week, and even have bonus episodes by our football analyst Gianluca Lia called Tactics Imperium, where he gets a match that he found interesting for one reason or another, and he breaks it down from a very tactical lens, allowing you guys to understand a bit more how to watch the game from a tactical lens, which Gianluca is very good at explaining.
He broke down the Super Coppa very nicely. He released 2 episodes on it. You should go and check them out.
Yep, he broke it down, and we're buzzing it down. If you really love us, become a patron. It's just $3.99 a month, and it's Christmas, so give back to your 2 favorite Maltese dudes.
Which reminds us, someone actually did that. Someone gave Volpato the Patreon subscription as a gift. So welcome Volpato, not the Volpato of Sassuolo, of course.
Much to our dismay.
But he is Australian.
Fuck yeah.
Yes, and he's been a long time listener, and we've actually had the pleasure of having him in this studio.
Absolutely, man.
As he was here on his honeymoon. So thank you very much for joining.
Actually, they were newlyweds, him and his wife, when they came over, and I'll never forget, he was so happy to be in the studio. Happy. It was really sweet.
Yeah, what was her name? Tiana.
Shout out. T. As we call her, because we're tight like that now. But yes, what do we get if we become a patron? Firstly, you make us really happy. Nick gets paid. Nick, give us a scream, Nick. Yes!
Welcome back, Nick.
By the way,
Nick or Nate.
Nick is back. I actually want you at the end of the episode, if we have time, to talk a bit about the game, because you went to watch United Brentford, Bournemouth 4-4, of the craziest matches of the season. I'm really happy about that. But what else will you get apart from access to speak to us and Nick on the group chat? You actually get to enter our fantasy league, where if you win our fantasy league, you can win a free kit of your choice.
This week we had some very high scorers in the fantasy league. Nick's about to pull it up.
Yeah, I was one of them. Shocker.
Yeah, I actually scored quite highly, but with Kilic on my bench, could have been better, because I got 80.5 points. But for example, Salernitana, Cesco, got 87 points. Inter your mom, David, is just unstoppable. He's on 86 points. He got 86 points this week. Sorry, Giordano, 85.5. But Daddy, I love Scamacca with 84, constantly featuring in the top 5 weekly performers. Sarah,
on the climb, man.
Hot Girl Summer with 83.5. Salah Perketiamo, that's Tyson, with 81.5. And Shikra Tegi, who's also been doing very well regularly, on 81.5 points. That takes the top 5 currently to Inter Your Mom, Catenaccio, Kmi Mazzi, Salernitana. But Daddy, I love Scamacca, SSC, Drees Nuts. Cortamuso, of course, Loco, Choco, Saul Coco is there as well. Giordano, Lotito, Vender, Vattanen, Zanetti's asshole is you, brother, Intent. And check where I've climbed to. 15th, baby, here I come.
Saponara Seaman. coming up.
Swimming up.
Swimming
Here
up tide.
we come. Hopefully we're not in the ass.
Hopefully it's not a poshy.
All right.
All right, let's start, brother.
Yes.
Atalanta, Inter.
So yes, the first game we had was Atalanta-Inter, where I spent the first 15 minutes going, oh wait, Atalanta are in the black and blue stripes. Oh wait, that's Atalanta. Yes, so Inter were were at the top of the table for this game as it commenced, but they were shaken by their unexpected Supercoppa Italiana semi-final loss to Bologna on penalties, which meant ending 2025 without any silverware. Yes, on the other hand, Atalanta had won 7 of their previous 8 competitive games under Palladino. However, this was the 9th consecutive defeat for Atalanta against Inter in all competitions, so they really have become a bogey team for them. For the lineups, we had Carnesecchi in goal for Atalanta, as they featured in their 3-4-2-1 formation with Jim City, Hien and Kolasinac at the back, Zalewski and Zappacosta out on the flanks with Ederson and Derun in the middle, De Ketelaere and Pasalic playing behind the isolated Scamacca.
Yeah.
For Inter, it was a 3-5-2 formation as always, with Sommer in goal, Bastonia, Kanji and Bissek at the back with Henrique and DiMarco on the flanks, Zielinski, Çalhanoğlu and Barella in the middle with Thuram and Lautaro partnering each other up front. Missing, of course, we had Bellanova, Bakar were missing for Atalanta, with Kosunu and Lukman at AFCON. Did you see that little exchange, by the way, when Kosunu was fouled in the box and he stayed on his feet and it zoomed in on Kessie, telling him to dive?
No.
He was like, dive. He's like, what the hell are you doing? Dive. Yeah. And
enough.
Inter were missing Boni, Acerbi, Dumfries, Darmian, Palacios and Di Gennaro. So in the 34th minute, Thuram had the ball in the back of the net, but Lautaro had received the ball in an offside position in the build-up. It was a ferocious strike by Thuram, but of course it was ruled out. In the 40th minute, there was a big Scamacca miss on a header in front of the goalkeeper after a great pass by Zalewski. Zalewski played a brilliant cross in, and I'm really disappointed with how Scamacca did over there. He did really well to lose Akanji, granted, but it ended up being a really bad miss. Zappacosta went off injured at halftime. In the 55th minute, Atalanta had the ball in the net too, but Zalewski was already offside before forcing Sommer into a save, so the Ketelaere's goal did not count. In the 55th minute, Luis Enrique found himself one-on-one with the goalkeeper. He tried to go round him. It reminded me a little bit of Salamakers. He messed up the chance, but made up for it by squaring it to Barella, who ended up missing an empty net first time. It was a sitter, granted, but it was a little bit awkward for him. First time, defender rushing onto him. He should have done better.
Should have done better, absolutely.
For sure. Scamacca had the ball in the net as well, but he was obviously offside before dribbling Sommer. In the 64th minute, this is when shit went down. Jim City tried to switch play, but the ball ended up going straight to Pio Esposito, who had just come on. He took the ball down calmly. He set up Lautaro from a weird angle, who managed to score quite cleanly. And then Jim City risked another howler, and this time Pio Esposito fired over. And then in the 86th minute, Atalanta did really well to set up a clear chance, for Samardzic to miss. He missed the target completely from blank range. There was a nice 1-2 between CDK and Scamacca in the build-up play before CDK squared it amazingly to Samardzic, who missed the target emphatically. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
So, 2 big chances wasted for Atalanta, and they gifted a goal to Inter. They shot themselves in the foot here, didn't they?
Oh, absolutely, and I think it was self-inflicted. I thought that, as in from a footballing sense, I don't think Inter were a far more threatening team in this game. Of course, they had that huge Barella chance and the Luis Enrique chance, both in one action, really. But I think what really let Atalanta down here was individuals and that isolation that there was between the team and Scamacca. I think with Lukman out, I think they're going to feel that. Having a player like Pasalic playing in that creative role closer to the striker, it's very different having Lukman. It brings about its own positives, but again, very different to having Lukman.
Lukman is much more inventive, right?
And
he
he has
can
a
create
clearer
things.
eye for a goal, and,
Yeah.
and he will create things on the ball. Pasalic kind of finds his space off the ball, and he puts himself into good areas, but you still need that guy to force the shot and to get the players performing. So I think overall that's going to be a big miss for Atalanta. What interests me is the lack of Kristovic over here. Because of course Scamacca has now found full fitness and he's in full form. Really, he's one of the most on-form strikers, if not the most, in the league. And however, it doesn't mean you don't bring on reinforcements like Nikola Kristovic. It doesn't mean you don't go. Like, why didn't they go to up top? You know, towards the end.
Fair enough. It could be that maybe they're trying to find a loan for him or something. Usually that's what tends to happen when players don't feature, for example.
But then
Lazio,
they'll only have one striker, so
but they might have their eyes on someone else.
Fair enough.
You know, Nuno Tavares, for example, for Lazio didn't feature in the last game at all whatsoever, and it's definitely not because they have more depth, you know, better options, because Pellegrino was playing instead of him. But
fair, good point.
But yeah, it could be they're trying to find a solution for Kristovic, or maybe they thought they could maybe come back into it without being too top heavy, because they risk getting outrun in midfield as well. I think that's more of what it is. But yeah, Lautaro Martinez is on fire, brother. He has now scored in 4 consecutive Serie A games for the first time since 2021.
Wow.
Now, his winner marked his 166th goal for the club. He is currently 4th in Inter's all-time scoring list. First, we've got Giuseppe Meazza, of course. He's on 200. He scored. He's on 284 goals. Followed by Altobelli with 209. Boninsegna with 173, and then you've got Martinez with 166. He has overtaken Mazzola, who has 162. Not to be confused with Metsola, the president of the European Union.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you got confused, because I got confused too.
In our generation, bro, watching football, there's Mauro Icardi in the top 10 as well. There's Christian Vieri. Icardi's in 8th.
The top 10.
Of course.
Crazy. How many goals?
124. He was the closest, I think, to breaking Shevchenko's derby scoring record. I'm not sure what Lautaro is on.
He would always score against Milan.
Always. It was crazy. It was a tough time for Milan and Inter, but he was the most consistent player in those derbies back then. I thought Lautaro played really well, man. Even he had one touch in the 26th minute, man. When you look at it, a simple touch takes out 3 players and he sets himself through on goal right after. And granted, the shot was really weak and really poor, and sometimes he does that. He shoots a bit limply, but that touch was just amazing. Not many strikers can do that.
No, he's very technical in that area, and that's what makes him such a good kind of like link up striker. Like he's literally, sometimes where he plays, it's like a false 9 that he occupies, with Thuram obviously being more of a target man. For Inter, because I think there's a lot of interesting talking points about Inter at the moment. Of course, the difference in how they're playing, obviously with the higher line, with Bissek back in the team, with Zielinski, who has really become a prominent figure in that midfield over Mkhitaryan. I think finally there's a manager that can replace Mkhitaryan and that can bring the best out of the likes of Zielinski, Sucic, etc. I think I've really been liking Zielinski and the way that he's been playing. I think he really, I think Çalhanoğlu and the players around him really enforce him to be that really technically gifted dribbling midfielder that he was late on at Udinese and in the beginning of his Napoli career as well. I hadn't seen him play this well or this comfortably, at least in a while. And then there's the defense, which I couldn't help but notice in this game that Bastoni seemed a little bit uncomfortable within his role. I mean, he was getting a little bit cooked time and time again.
Yeah. That's a bit of a theme this season, isn't it, with Bastoni? I wouldn't say that it's an issue that needs to be addressed, but I think he's experiencing some growing pains adapting to this new system by Kivu, which is a lot more kind of like intense with a higher line. What do you make of it, bro?
So I think that the left side of Inter is a lot more exposed than the right. I think typically in the right you have Dumfries who attacks a lot but tracks back very aggressively, and then depends who you're playing on the right hand side. It could be Akanji, it could be Bisek, etc. I think the left side they tend to go forward a lot. I think they rely on DeMarco's crosses heavily and Bastoni's crosses.
In fact, in the top 10 key passes played this season in Europe's top 5 leagues, Barella and DiMarco both feature.
There you go.
So DiMarco has been of course featuring a lot more. Inzaghi used to take him out an hour in. So it's true, his side is a lot more exposed than the other side, definitely.
But then it's also like when he's in possession, he's getting dribbled, etc. Like when it's a 1v1 situation, which typically I would rate Bastoni quite highly over there. But it seemed to be the case that he struggled particularly in this game with one-on-one defending. We'll see how that evolves. Yeah,
absolutely. De Ketelaere is a very good technical dribbler.
Yes.
So of course that makes sense. Crazy, De Ketelaere, how well he's been playing.
Insane, man.
Yeah,
insane.
he was so good this game.
Insane. I feel like this manager Palladino, of course, is getting the best out of him because we hadn't seen him this good for the entirety of the season. Now he picked up the second Palladino.
Yeah, it's true. I think that it was a game of fine margins. Both teams were wasteful and could have done better in certain situations. Of course, Gym City, those 2 lapses in concentration at the end was big, and you don't expect it for someone with that much experience. Just one more note on individuals, brother, before we move on to some sexy stats. Pio Esposito, man. I thought it's the little things that impress me with young strikers, man, especially young players in general. When he intercepted that Gym City ball, he had enough time to try have a crack himself to go for a goal. You know, I mean, the media's all over him. It's kind of mixed. You have people praising every little single thing he does, and then you have people kind of like taking the piss, almost like mocking him because of how overhyped he's been. But I thought that he was very mature, man. He took the ball down calmly, he looked up, he saw Lautaro Martinez off his shoulder making the run, he played him in behind very calmly, cool, composed. He scores and he runs off celebrating with him, just celebrating his composure, essentially. That's what that was.
And I think what's rare to find in young players is a young player that helps the team and not needing the team to put an extra effort to cater for them and to help them. I think that's the difference between him and the reason he gets that praise is he comes in and he essentially makes Inter a better team because he's empowering Lautaro Martinez.
Like, I'm not sure Bonnie passes there.
I don't think so.
Bonnie often doesn't look up.
No, I mean, it's no secret. This guy is incredibly selfless.
Yes,
for a 19-year-old that's going to want to get goals in nice and early because a striker's confidence is based typically on the amount of goals that they score. He has no problem giving up a goal and remaining as confident, which is incredibly impressive for someone at that age. Yeah,
absolutely, bro. So the last time Atalanta beat Inter wasn't terribly long ago. It was in 2018.
That's
it's a while ago.
Long ago,
yes.
Bro.
But not that long ago.
You're kidding me? It's 7 years ago, dog.
Yeah.
About to be 8
but
years
it's not
ago.
like the 1900s.
It's Atalanta we're talking about.
So this was at the Gewis Stadium. And the score was 4-1. Icardi scored the penalty that game for Inter. Papu, Gym City, Mancini and Hatteber scored for Atalanta.
No, I think I remember.
Interesting to see Gym City playing in 2018, still starting over here and costing them the game this time.
Absolutely.
The last time Atalanta beat Inter at San Siro was 4 years prior to that, actually. In March 2014. 2-1 at San Siro. Icardi scored for Inter, of course, and then Bonaventura scored the double for Atalanta.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
That's what sealed it then.
Yeah,
Bonaventura to me.
Exactly.
Question for Atalanta fans, how do you feel about Isaac Hien? Do you feel like he's it's taking him a bit too fucking long to settle, and do you feel like he's been clumsy? Or are these one-off perhaps instances of clumsiness that he doesn't always display? You guys must watch Atalanta more than me. Let me know.
Is like a really weird inconsistent player, because sometimes when he plays well, he's a beast. He's a monster. And especially, was he Hellas Verona, right? He was at Hellas.
Yes.
At Hellas, he was a monster. At Atalanta, he has had monstrous performances, but then he has also had these very limp performances. And I'm pretty sure it's him adapting to this high line. And the high line exposes him more.
Yes.
Compared to, for example, Hellas Verona, who would play much deeper, of course, because he's more of a combative, strong centre-back. So I think, it is interesting to see what the fans think of him, though. Are they happy with him? Do they want him replaced?
Because he has a high ceiling and you could see quality, but there's definitely improvements that could be made alongside along Atalanta's back line. It is an area that could see improvements. I mean, Kolasinac here in Gym City. There could be some investments made in defense for Atalanta.
Absolutely,
that's for sure.
absolutely. And I think it's an area that needs to be addressed, to be honest with you. Yeah, but that is pretty much it, brother. That victory for Inter takes them to first with 36 points, while Atalanta are in 10th with 22 points.
Bravissimo. Next up, we're going to be covering Milan against Hellas Verona. Milan, of course, won this game 3-0. Milan recently lost the semi-final of the Supercoppa Italiana and had a 2-2 draw to Sassuolo in Serie A. Keen to bounce back, they missed Leao, Jimenez, Gabbia, and there was actually Füllkrug in attendance. Breaking news, of course, you guys would have seen it by now. Füllkrug has officially signed for Milan on a loan with an option to buy for around 12 to 13 million.
Yes, and eagle-eyed observers noticed a tick.
Yes, and I'm thrilled as a Milan fan that instead of having a striker that, like touches his hair every 2 minutes, I have a striker with a missing tooth and a tick. Fucking sign me
sick.
Up, man. 32-year-old fucking striker with a tick. That's
and one of the thing is the missing tooth is one of the front four. That's what's brilliant about it.
Fucking cool.
Like I have a missing tooth, but it doesn't show. It's in the back.
Now you have to show us. It's fucking dope, man, to be fair.
You broke it.
You got a whole ass chicken stuck in there.
Yeah, but if it were one of the front four, even I would get it replaced.
Yes.
And I'm not a multi-millionaire football player. It's just crazy. The level of indifference. Like, mental. I find that mental.
Maybe he has scurvy. We don't know. Maybe Füllkrug has scurvy. Füllkrug, do you have scurvy?
Let us know in the comments.
Füllkrug. Verona's match against Bologna was of course postponed due to Supercoppa, but they did beat Fiorentina 2-1 in their last league match. Here they missed Suslov, Freze, Belgali and Akpakpro. Milan lined up in a 3-5-2 formation, Manjan in goal, backline of Pavlovic, Levinter and Tomori. Bartazagi was on the right, Salemakers on the left, and the midfield three of Rabiot, Modric and Ruben Loftus-Cheeks, with Pulisic and Christian Nkunku up front together. And no, he's not dating Sydney Sweeney. He's dating Lecce, and we love Lecce, okay?
You heard it here first.
Or last.
This whole Sydney Sweeney thing, I can't believe anyone took it seriously. But can you imagine being the partner of Pulisic and of being his partner, and one day you wake up and your phone's blowing up and all your friends are texting you articles about your boyfriend and Sydney Sweeney, the woman that everyone's talking about at the moment.
I mean, I wouldn't like to be her, because for sure everyone's intimidated by Sydney Sweeney. I'd say most women would be intimidated by someone like Sydney Sweeney. I mean, she's a sex icon. You know what I mean?
At the moment, yes.
At the moment, yes.
Yeah.
At the moment.
As you're not gonna call her an all-timer, like she's not
an all-time leading sex icon.
She's not an all-time leading sex
She's
icon.
on form right now.
She's on form right now. We'll see if she has
good.
Yes, I'm not sure if she has the longevity in her. She's like the Marilyn Monroe kind of longevity.
I'm not sure. From Euphoria, but we'll see what's next for her. I'm not a huge fan of her movies, but a huge fan of her. 3-5-1 formation for Verona. Montepon goal, backline of Nunez, Nelson and Bella Kotchap. Here we go. Oyegoke on the right, Bradaric on the left, with a midfield three of Niasse, Al-Musrati and Bernadette, Joe Vane playing behind Mosquera. Milan opened the scoring in additional time of the first half through Christian Pusilik. It was an in-swinging corner from Modric that was flicked on by Rabiot, and Pusilik was free at the far post and he whacked the ball into the back of the net. Just 2 minutes after the break, Nkunku won and converted a penalty. Congratulations, Nkunku, for your first goal for Milan in Serie A. And just 4 minutes later, Nkunku got his second goal for Milan in Serie A as well. Again, congratulations, Nkunku. This was a rare shot from Modric. The ball, Montepò got a good hand to it. It hit the post and then just like sat on the line. And it's like, who's going to get there first? Is it Montepò? Is it Chris de Kunk? Chris de Kunk gets there first and taps it in. He didn't do the balloon celebration the second time round because he only put one balloon in his pocket.
He puts one. I mean, he has
to be honest,
a single goal in the league.
I'm glad. Like, firstly, I never want to see him do that celebration twice. The celebration pisses me off. I don't like it.
I don't like it. It reminds me of like pro clubs.
Teatrini bullshit. Like. I don't like the celebration, but it's good he put one in. He's being humble.
Yeah,
he has 5 balloons in there.
He's got he's got a whole packet of balloons in his sock.
Ridiculous. I mean, this game was a clean victory for Milan, but Milan needed a win exactly like this at home to a relegation-threatened team, man. And again, another good point is they didn't concede a goal, which is even better.
Yes, and the goal that Milan did score came at the perfect time, right before half-time, right? It would have changed Allegri's team talk as well as Zanetti's. A tough team to play against, a very physical side, and they have quite a lot of counter-attacking weapons, and we've seen Milan struggle against teams that are set up like this. Of course, they have Jovain and Gift Orban, who can do a lot of damage, and even Serdar can actually do quite a lot of damage. He didn't start, Serdar, but I believe, yes, he did come on in the 75th minute.
Yeah.
But I was very impressed by the maturity of Milan, and I would like to see more of this going forward against the Minnow side.
Absolutely. Allegri did say that Milan should have gotten their first goal much earlier in the first half. It feels like they were too pragmatic in the first half. In fact, they had limited chances. They had a few set pieces where they threatened a little bit. Verona at the start of the first half, for the majority of the first half, they were very compact, disciplined, and occasionally they showed that threat on counters by running at the Milan defense. However, Milan were simply more clinical, more opportunities, and when Modric and Rabiot are fit, Milan dominate the midfield excellently. Those are the two key players for Milan at the moment in midfield, and they don't perform as well without each other, these guys. They're such a package, Rabiot and Modric. You see Rabiot by himself and Modric by themselves, they're literally not the same.
They're excellent, man. Even that little flick that Rabiot did before Nkunku won the penalty was really nice. They're really feeling themselves as well. They're playing with a lot of confidence, and they are carrying the team.
Yes. Of course, Pulisic was once again decisive. Pulisic, he
would have recorded last week, huh?
Sorry?
He would have recorded last week.
Yeah, as in his podcast?
Yeah, I mean, if he were in our position,
exactly.
he would have been here.
Yes, with a fever.
With a fever, pale face.
With a fever, that's what I was telling Key. I'm like, Pulisic would have done the Medina Spinola race that I didn't do because I had a cold. Like, Pulisic would have done it and he would have gotten a great time. But Pulisic is now tied with Lautaro Martinez for Serie A top scorer. They both have 8 goals, which is obviously impressive. I think that Pulisic has adapted really well to this role. Obviously nothing new over here, but no matter who he has by his side, he seems to get a goal pretty much every other game, man.
He's just extremely intelligent with his movement. He knows football very well. He knows his teammates very well.
Poacher, man.
Yeah, like a poacher. Literally, like we had discussed, was it 2 episodes ago? Pulisic, the poacher. But yeah, he moves extremely intelligently. And I am always impressed by Bartezaghi, man. Always.
Honestly, it's crazy how, like, I wouldn't have even had him anywhere in my notes just because it's another good performance by Bartezaghi, but this guy's 19 years old. We should be highlighting every single time he does something well with the ball at his feet, like. But this guy is a nailed-on starter. Estupinian is out of the starting 11.
He is, yeah. Good, convincing win by Milan.
Yes, I don't think there's too much to add other
We
than
can
that. I
move on.
think just because it's newsworthy. So the full Krug signing took place. So Milan don't need to offload anyone to bring in full Krug. They brought him in because they lack depth in attack, and they don't have a single number 9 apart from Santi, who is I don't know where he is. But with that being said, Milan are still looking for another number 9. So there's still Mateta being mentioned. There's still Xerxes being mentioned. There's still all these guys
Not
being
for now,
mentioned.
though, right?
Now, possibly, and Fenerbahce are in talks with Milan for Nkunku. Milan are open to selling him, but they want apparently, again, Skriniar from Fenerbahce as part of the deal, while Fenerbahce are saying, look, we just want to give you 35 million and you give us Nkunku. But Nkunku, of course, doesn't want to leave because this is fucking weird by Milan, and they keep on doing it season after season. They make a strange signing. Everyone in the world thinks it's strange, and then they try to get rid of them after 6 months.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a rigmarose. Rigmarose.
It was the same thing happened with Pavlovic, man. They tried to offload him. It was ridiculous.
It happened with Emerson. It happened with Morata.
Yeah.
You know, it's happening over and over again. And just another note is that Sarri wants Loftus-Cheek quite badly at Lazio.
I don't blame him.
And Loftus-Cheek is open to reuniting with Sarri.
Yeah, this best ever season under Sarri at Chelsea, no? Yeah.
I would miss Loftus-Cheek a lot. I'd miss Loftus-Cheek at Milan. I think he's a good utility player.
He is. But I think I'd move on quite quickly.
Yes.
Because it means probably we get to see more of Richie.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Or Yashari, you know. But I mean, Lazio right now do need more of Sarri's men in the middle, because right now their team is very makeshift. So
Absolutely.
So yeah.
And we will get into that soon. But over to you, brother, for the next game.
Yes. The next game is Cremonese 0, Napoli 2. Napoli had lost top spot in Serie A with a defeat to Udinese, but were revitalized by their Supercoppa triumph in Riyadh, of course. And an interesting fact is, guess when the last time Cremonese beat Napoli was? Guess. Take a wild guess.
Not the last time. I'm going to say the 1940s. I'm
Crazy.
going to say 1947.
No, it's 1994. Close enough. Bro, mentioned the war, like.
It was post-war, actually.
2-0, Floriancic double.
No
If you
way.
know who Floriancic is, respect, because I don't remember Floriancic from 1994
He's
Cremonese.
the one that started Floriana and Malta, no?
So yes, this was not to be, of course. 1994 still remains the last time Cremonese actually managed to beat Napoli. Cremonese were missing Colo-Colo this game and Ceccherini to suspension. Napoli were missing Lukaku, Beukema, Oliveira, Gilmore, Meret, and De Bruyne. I almost called Gilmore Giroud. Yeah, that would have been wild. So yes, as for the formations for Cremonese, it was a 3-5-2 formation with the pride of Indonesia, Emil Laudero in goal, Terracciano, Baschirotto and Bianchetti at the back, with Barbieri and Pezzella on the flanks, Zerbin, Grassi and Paero in the middle, with Sanabria and Jamie Vardy featuring together up front. For Napoli, it was Milinkovic-Savic in goal in their 3-4-2-1 formation, with Juan Jesus, Rahmani and Di Lorenzo at the back, Politano on the right, Spinazzola on the left, McTominay and Lobotka as the double pivot, with Elmas and Neres playing behind Højlund. So in the 13th minute, Napoli opened the scoring when Spinazzola's effort from the edge of the area took a big deflection and Højlund pounced from 7 yards. And in the 45th minute, Napoli doubled their lead on the stroke of halftime. Zerbin didn't get much on his interception, so Politano's cross was just knocked down for Højlund to fire in from 6 yards. He already has more Serie A goals than throughout all of last season at Manchester United. Yeah, this was a big win for Napoli. They had lost 7 of their previous 9 away games in all competitions with only 2 victories.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So that is as many defeats as their previous 33 competitive away matches combined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a Sorry, you're done with the play-by-play, right?
Yes.
Perfect. I think it's a well-needed win at the moment for Napoli because there were a few occasions they had just switched to the 3-4-3 and it was working really well. Then they lost a few games in the Champions League and in Serie A as well, and there was a bit of doubt. Even Conte started speaking unsurely in the media and with a lack of confidence in the media. But clearly things are under control. I think at the moment they have a player. Surprising, I'm not going to mention Højlund because we mentioned him a lot in the intro. One guy we didn't mention enough was Neres. To me, Neres has absolutely transformed the way that Napoli are capable of playing football. The fact that they finally have someone they can play the ball too early and he can charge forward and create a chance out of nothing is super, super important. And they haven't had that since Kvaratskhelia. Maybe Raspadori used to do it to us.
But nothing close to this.
Nothing close to what Neres does. The goals he's been scoring, the chances he's been creating, the dribbles he's been pulling off. At the moment, I genuinely think he's one of the best players in Serie A. I'd say at the moment it'd be top 3 for star players in a team, you know?
Absolutely. Right now he is on fire in Neres, and he's extremely unpredictable and difficult to deal with, and it gives Napoli this entirely new dynamic. Lobotka is a player who doesn't get enough praise, in my opinion. He orchestrates this entire team brilliantly. He is the heartbeat of this team completely. And I just thought this was a really clean victory by Napoli, who really limited Cremonese a full strength almost. Cremonese, bar the defensive absentees in Colo and Ceccherini, of course. Granted, yes, they are two players who start, but compared to Napoli's injuries, you know, they have nothing.
Absolutely, no, 100%.
But they limited them to only 2 shots on target, and they really didn't threaten.
And I think that's the main takeaway over here is they didn't really allow Cremonese to create anything or to relatively threaten, and they're a very threatening team, be it from open play, counter-attacks or set pieces. Cremonese always have a few chances in every game, but Napoli managed to just completely leave them out of this game. One interesting thing I've noticed about Cremonese recently was the sheer amount, and of course this tends to be the case with newly promoted teams. It's not like crazy news kind of thing, but the sheer amount of loanees they have in this team, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah,
it's an insane amount of loanees. Audero, now I don't know the details of if
like
they have an obligation or an option or whatever, but Paiero from Udinese, of course, Zerbin, of course, Terracciano, Bondo, and there are plenty more. There Mussolini, that's not coming to me right now, but there are plenty more. Faye is on loan as well.
Yeah, they've got, of course, this is the classic philosophy, you know, they try to loan in talent to survive.
Yeah.
And to survive on a cheap, you know, bargain survival. Not exactly a very sustainable model, but thankfully for Cremonese, they scouted well, they picked their loanees very carefully, and they've got the perfect leader in Davide Nicola.
Exactly.
But yeah. Massive for Napoli. This whole away thing was beginning to get a bit scary, and of course you can't have a psychological hurdle like that away from home when you're trying to compete for a league title.
And I don't think it's gone yet because they've picked up this victory away to Cremonese. I mean, it was only a couple of match days ago when they lost away to Udinese, they lost away to Benfica. It's still a problem that they need to continue addressing, and even in the Champions League, I actually need to pull up the table to make sure before I say that you know, classic Conte in the sense that they really haven't been instilling themselves or standing
Where
out
are they
in the Champions League.
Champions
That's what I'm finding out now. They're in 23rd.
Oof.
I think the top 8 is not out of question, but it's going to be very hard for them to get to the top 8.
So top 8, you need 12 points. As it stands, they're on 7. No, that's fucking tough.
Yeah.
Gonna be a bit messy, this one.
Yep.
But he's already got his grubby hands on a trophy, Conte, no? So he doesn't really give a shit. I think he'll focus on the Scudetto, I say.
I don't think he ever gave a shit about the Champions League, to be
In
fair.
general,
Either
yeah.
that or he just so happens, I don't know how, he's just terrible at the Champions League. Even it's a league format now, and he's still not great at
And
it.
when people talk about Conte's knockout record and how he isn't a great knockout manager, I can't help but think of that Euros run with Italy, man, where he had such a bad squad. He had such a bad squad. I remember after the Spain game, they had pulled up the heat maps to compare and the stats of Iniesta against Marco Parolo.
Crazy.
You know, like they don't even breathe the same air, man.
Literally.
Parolo and Iniesta, and he managed to beat that Spain side and knock them out convincingly. With Graziano Pelle, Giaccherini, that was a really
Giaccherini
cool.
was fired.
He was good, man. With Chievo, he was, and then later on, I think he's got it in him, Conte. I think that maybe he prefers to put his eggs in one basket.
Yeah, I think it's quite frustrating for a team like Napoli. I think they won 2 Scudetti in the last 3 seasons. I think they'd like to go on a bit of a European run, and I think they have the squad for it.
Thankfully, they had one quite recently, to be fair. To be fair, they went on quite a run when Milan knocked them out in the quarters.
That's a run, getting to the quarters.
For Napoli. It was their best ever, I believe.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it was. I believe their best ever statistically. Yeah. So yes, Cremonese are in 12th place, quite safe, 21 points, solid, while Napoli are in 3rd with 34 points.
Next up, we have Pisa 0, Juve 2. Pisa were coming off a thrilling 2-2 draw to Cagliari. They missed Stengs, Nzola, Quadrado, and Akinsan Miro. On loan from Inter, by the way, Akinsan Miro. Juve on a good spell, beating Bologna and Roma most recently, after their loss to Napoli. Here they miss Vlahovic, Gatti, Rugani, Cabal, Pinsoglio, and Conceição. It was a 3-5-2 formation for Pisa. While I do this, you mind pouring me a glass of water, bro?
Sure,
Thank
man.
you. 3-5-2 formation
Some
for
your bitch.
for Gilardino's men. Semper in goal, backline of Canestrelli, Caracciolo, and Calabresi. Triple C, baby. Angori out on the left and Toure out on the right, with a midfield three of Vural, Abisher, and Leris, with Tramoni and Moreo leading the line. It was a 3-4-2-1 formation for Spalletti's men, Di Gregorio in goal, thank you bro. Backline of Kalulu, Bremer and Kelly, Cambiasso on the right, McKennie on the left, double pivot of Locatelli and Thuram, with Cope Miners and Yildiz playing behind Openda. Cope Miners, for sure, he's gonna get vertigo. He's getting dizzy in all these different positions, man. Now from centre back, now he's an attacking midfielder.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Let Spalletti cook, man. You know, next week we might have to wax Luca's ass in here. Eh?
Oh my god,
they're on 4 wins in a row.
Not 3.
They're on 4.
I think they're on 3.
But it's an all comps, huh?
It's an all competitions.
Yeah, it's 4 wins in a row, and that's it.
Luca, condition your ass, not only wash it.
Pafos, Bologna, Roma, Pisa, and now they have to beat Lecce. If they beat Lecce, Luca is going to be on this here table, and we're going to be waxing him.
What we'll do is we'll lay him down.
We'll lay him down later.
We'll undress him consensually, and
That's good.
Nick's getting excited about this one. Yes. We lay him down the table, put his pants down. Consensually, only if he wants. We have a video of him consenting, to be fair.
We do.
Yes.
It's going to be massive, huh? His ass. Shout out to Luca.
Bro. Shout out to Luca. Keep Tuesday next week free, I guess, man. Anyway, so Pisa almost scored twice. Immediately, off the get-go. There was Moreo hit the crossbar from a corner, and then Tramoni had a completely free header, and he clattered the near post. So two huge chances for Pisa off the get-go. Juve had several chances, they're like half chances, including blocked attempts from Thuram, Cope Miners, and Yildiz, but nothing clear-cut, and then Kelly hit the post at a point. A really weird attempt from him from the left-hand side. He hit the near post. I didn't, to be fair, he struck it quite cleanly. I didn't know
Kelly
Lloyd had that in him. But the scoring was open in the 73rd minute by Kalulu. Zagrova and David came on, and that combination really changed the game for Juve. They started creating a bit more clear-cut chances. Juve pushed down the right, McKennie rolled the ball into the box, Calabresi deflected it, and it ricocheted off Kalulu, and it ended up in the back of the net. It was by no means a clean finish by Kalulu, but the ball was put in a very dangerous position there.
Yeah.
And then stoppage time, Yildiz made it 2-0. On a counter, David carried the ball and he played Miretti through. He beat the last defender with great skill and pretty much the goalkeeper as well. And the ball fell to Yildiz, who tapped in from close range.
Yeah. Yes, I think Juve they've definitely improved. They've been growing into it. They've been gaining momentum. When it comes to this game, they suffered. They did suffer against Pisa, because Pisa are a very well coached team.
Yes.
And they're extremely organized and difficult to break down, and they are very capable of getting a point against anyone, as we have seen as Milan fans. I am particularly impressed by how different Juve have been setting up. Against Roma, for example, they came out to attack Juve. Whereas, for example, this game and the game against Bologna, they were a lot more cautious, a lot more defensive. They concede a lot more, and they wait for their moments.
Yeah.
So they're being smart about it. They're not dying on this Spalletti hill of a 4-3-3. We're going to dominate possession every single game.
They're not Fabregas.
They're not.
It's not one system.
Yeah.
Spalletti is very liquid in that sense.
Exactly.
And he sets up his team.
And seeing Spalletti setting up a 3-at-the-back system for Juve, and then thinking about how he relentlessly forced that 4-3-3 upon the Italian national team is quite frustrating, isn't it?
It's frustrating. I think with Italy, Spalletti had a bit of an ego. He was coming off this ridiculously impressive triumph with Napoli, where he won them their first Scudetto since the Maradona era, and he blew everyone else out of the water. And he left on that high. And Italy instantly came calling, and they're like, we want you, we're willing to pay Napoli to get you over getting Conte. So he entered the Italy job, I would think, at least if it were me, with a cocky confidence about him. After failing and being picked up on the contract that he's been picked up with by Juve, that's, okay, now I need to prove myself. I had to prove myself, A, to keep my job, and B, because I've just had such a negative spell on the pinnacle part of my career. No, now this is my pinnacle. I'm the Juve fucking manager now.
Yeah.
So I think I think now he's a bit more open to try new things and maybe to let his ego down and stop trying to implement just his style of play, you know?
Yeah.
So that's just a theory. But with regards to this game, what I want to say is I've been seeing Juve getting criticized because they only started playing football when Zagrova and David came on, and they only started doing well from the 70th minute onwards. Apologies, but I thought our football game was 90 minutes long. Honestly, like
you have quality subs, your opponent doesn't. Might as well.
It is a
them.
90-minute game.
Yeah,
It's a 90-minute game. If you do it from 70th minute onwards, and they're tasked. If you look at how the game went for the opening 70 minutes, let's say that, Juve did well not to concede. Pisa were playing really well. They were hitting on the break really well. They're a really tough side to play against, and they've held a lot of the top teams. They've held Milan as well. I thought Juve managed the game well. I thought, sure, it wasn't the most sexy football, whatever, but Spalletti, in this game, Spalletti gets you 3 points. And that's what Juve needed, that Tudor wasn't giving them. It's 3 points in a game like this, man.
Yes, and I thought personally that starting Openda wasn't necessarily the way to go. Now, I could understand the logic in starting him because he scored a very important goal against Roma the weekend before. So you could say that Spalletti rewarded Openda with another start.
Yeah.
But when you look at a team that's going to kind of sit back and allow you possession and allow you to attack, Openda's best strength is on the counter, right? He's got pace. He can beat. He can really stretch the line and beat his man. I thought David, prioritizing a player who can kind of drop deep, link up a little bit more, would have been a better option this game. from the start at least, but it turned out perfectly. So
I think
David did end up getting involved at the end. Actually.
and David was a really good sub to make. I think he came on and he kind of linked attack and the attack and midfield really well. You see, he played an important part in the. I'm not sure if it was in the first or the second goal. I think potentially in both he played. He played.
In the Yildiz one, the 92nd one for sure, because it was his goal to score. He was really unlucky.
But good point. To be honest, I'm unsure who would be the better impact sub, would be the better striker, etc.
I think it depends, right? In an open game, Openda's the guy to go probably, but against a team like this,
fair enough.
You play the smarter striker.
It makes sense.
Yeah. Because Openda's fucking fast, man.
He is. He's rapid.
You fucking notice this. It's mental how fast he is.
Juve also want to be quite active in the January transfer window, which is good to hear considering that they do need reinforcements. And they're looking at 3 key positions. They're looking at a wing back role, they're looking at the attack / winger role, and they're looking at the central midfield roles. In midfield, they're looking at Guido Rodriguez of West Ham. As a wide option, as a right wing back, they're looking at Norton Coffey, who was scouted. Apparently the cost would be around 20 million-ish, and there's a possible swap involving Perrin. And in the winger role, they're actually looking at bringing back Chiesa, and that's quite a heavy rumour at the moment. And if not, they're also looking at Damsgaard and Schade of Brentford or Adingra of Sunderland. There's also another forward that they are apparently considering, which is Gonzalo Garcia of Real Madrid.
Can I just say, I've been getting really annoyed by how people talk about Chiesa, man. Like he's some player that's being fucking wasted. Like a colleague of mine said something hilarious, and I'm not even sure if I should say it here. I'll say it, worst case we cut it out.
Okay,
but I'm gonna say it. The only reason Chiesa is getting the minutes he's getting at the moment at Liverpool, which are barely any, is because Jota died. He wasn't meant to be involved at all. I mean, he's playing with the reserves. He was playing in the cup competitions and the knockout ones against the minnow teams. As crazy as it sounds, that's it, right? Now, I'm quoting, and this isn't me, Jake, saying this.
No, I mean,
yeah.
I think it's not the point that he died. I think it's the point that a
player
was made fucking unavailable.
And then everyone talks about because Gattuso isn't calling up Chiesa, and then it comes out that Chiesa is actually turning down the national team. Like, in my opinion, he shouldn't even be called up to the national team. What are you saying? Are you saying that what Chiesa is doing at the moment is better than what Berardi or Solini or Politano are doing? No. Like, sorry, Chiesa had a really, really, really good tournament. He was ravaged by injuries. And he's nowhere near the player that he used to be. Nowhere near. He's done. Like, I don't know if maybe he can kind of tweak his game a little bit, kind of like Zaniolo's done a little bit, where he's changed his game a bit. He's become a bit stronger. He's not relying purely on pace, but you know, on taking people on and having a crack from a distance. You know, that type of player, but. I don't know, man. I don't get the Chiesa nowadays. Big 2025.
Chiesa's not done, but Chiesa's not the answer either. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that I speak to a lot of Liverpool fans, and they all love Chiesa, and I'm certain that if he started every single game, they wouldn't love him, because you see the shortcomings. You know what I mean? And he will fucking get injured if he plays that often. You have to treat him like glass, like Allegri was doing, but is that really the best Juve can do? Is it like they want to get Chiesa back? It almost seems more nostalgic than a good idea to me. But I like the idea of Norton Coffey for them, for example. I don't know too much about fucking Guido Rodriguez.
No, I don't know much about
and Simon Adingra and Schade.
We should ask Theo about them.
We'll ask Theo about
he's probably
them.
watched all these guys because of his fantasy FPL.
But I think Juve can be a bit more, you know, ambitious perhaps with the profiles that they're looking at. But that's pretty much it. I just want to say that Juve with Spalletti, with the run that they're on, and how they're looking, not only do I think that they are strong contenders for top 4. But I think with Spalletti, man, if things keep on going the way that they're going, I think they can compete with the top 3 teams and make it a 4-way. I don't know if they have the quality within the team to go all the way and like go to the final match day still within the chance of winning the league. But I think they could certainly entertain a conversation between 3rd and 2nd, for example.
I think with everyone available, Juve are decent. They're not decent, they're good. The problem is that they've got a few players that if they lose them, they really suffer. That's why maybe reinforcements are very important.
Yes.
Exhibit A is Bremer. How much better have they been with Bremer
yes,
back? It's
absolutely.
mental.
It's crazy.
It's crazy the difference. It's true. It is crazy. Shout out to Kalulu, by the way, who hasn't missed a minute this season.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Congrats, Lulu.
He's absolutely amazing.
And shout out to Lulu's Cafe. That's whatever.
They make insane cakes.
They make insane cakes.
They do make insane
Lulu's
cakes.
Cafe, heard it here first. Cambiaso, bro. Hilarious player. The lapses in concentration he has. At one point, he took a throw in. I'm pretty sure it was a foul throw and it was straight to the opposition. Hilarious.
Cambiaso. He's one of those I can't quite put my finger on what the hell happened to him. It's like Pep was interested in 2 players, Ricci and Cambiaso. I don't think either of them have been the same since then.
Ricci, to be fair.
Yes, just
he
he hasn't been being called up that consistently by Italy anymore. It just seems like when Pep points at someone from Serie A, I don't know what happens to them. But anyway, shout out to Zegrova. Zegrova, I believe Spalletti came out and said this guy can't play 90 minutes for sure at the moment. This is a guy that is very injury prone. His highlight reel is mental, Zegrova. You could tell he's a good 1v1 dribbler. He's got a decent left foot tira gira on him. I do want to see it translating a bit more in Serie A and actually see him play well. He had a good 15-minute showing over here where he changed the game a little bit. I do want to see more of it because I think there's a lot of hype without
Yeah, I think he's being eased in right now as Zegrova. I think when it comes to maybe tactically or from a discipline point of view, I don't think he's the type to track back and to work extremely hard for the team. I think he's very much a flair player, a player who can drop your jaw with a dribble and curl it from an angle like he's a chaos player, right? He's the type of player you want to bring on if you're chasing a lead, and with like 15 minutes to go.
That's it. Before we move on, 2 words: Alberto Gilardino. I find that. You guys know if you listen regularly, I think the world of Gilardino as a manager. I genuinely think when he was at Genoa and when he was at Pisa, he created 2 teams that were incredibly disruptive, 2 teams that are hard to break down and very complicated sides to play against. Physical teams, quite similar to Allegri in that sense, and that had just tactically very, very sound teams with a very nice balanced style of football. I think at Genoa when he got sacked, he was very hard done by the sheer amount of injuries he had at that time. He had a crazy amount of injuries. But the streak lasted for too long. Genoa pulled the plug and hired Patrick Vieira. I was hoping what would happen is that Gilardino would end up somewhere like Fiorentina, Torino, Udinese, and start to build his way up in that sense. But what happened is he went to Pisa, as they got promoted, because of course Inzaghi got Pisa promoted, and I think with really limited resources and a team that on paper is probably the worst team in the league on paper, I think Gilardino has done fucking well for the time being to create a team that can compete with the teams around them and take a game to their opponents. I think he's done well. I think what this team needs more than Gilardino is a fucking miracle if they want to do better.
This team has been either poorly structured when it comes to the wage bill, like we discussed a few weeks ago, and a splash of misfortune. They've been so unlucky, and because like Stengs again, the best player, hasn't featured at all this season. You know, he's the highest paid player. And Zola, I mean, not the player I would have gone for personally, but you understand the logic. He's a player who has kept teams alive in Serie A. Historically, and then Cuadrado, bringing him in for experience, making him the highest earner. I understand the logic, but it's not the ideal. Now, if you have to look at Gilardino and how he performed managing Genoa back in 2024, you know, he beat Bologna, he beat Sassuolo, he beat Cagliari, he beat Verona. He was beating the teams that were worse than him. He held Milan, he held Fiorentina, who back then were good. He held Juve, man. You know, he fucking was doing quite well. He held Napoli as well.
In my opinion, this guy is going to be a great manager.
Yes,
like a fantastic Serie A manager. I see him at the top teams in the future.
Yes, he's
I
still
think
young,
this
and
is
I think
tough gig. But with that being said, this is where my point was originally going. Because they're in danger of relegation, there's a chance that likely Gilardino will get sacked at some point.
Yeah.
You know?
But teams aren't stupid, you know. I mean, it's quite clear that this Pisa squad isn't exactly great, and when you watch them play, it's clear that they play better than they actually are. You know, they're a very well coached team, and it's very easy to see. So I wouldn't be surprised if in the future newly promoted teams whose managers leave do go for Gilardino, or maybe Serie B teams who are looking for promotion could go for Gilardino. He needs to go through this. This is a very important moment in his career, man.
But I think he deserves to be at a better team, and I think to see him at a team that can actually play the football that he wants to play, I think that's where we see the true quality of Gilardino, man. Because when he had good players at Genoa, when he had Retegui and Goodmanson, and he got them to 12th, 11th, whatever that was, as a newly promoted team, they're fucking amazing. Fucking really cool team to watch.
Yeah.
Because he had a good, and they weren't even phenomenal players, no, he had Friendrup, Goodmanson, Retegui, you know, these kind of guys.
Yeah.
Messias. Dragos, to be fair, bro. Fucking lit team.
Yeah.
But they were really cool to watch, man.
Yeah.
I just want to see him at a team that has more quality, and I think they'll be one of my favorite teams because the way that he plays football is
It's
amazing.
Nice.
But anyway, Juve are currently, this time Jake is more prepared than me with the standing reads. Juve are currently in 5th on 32 points, just 1 point behind Roma, who are in 4th, and of course Pisa in 19th place on 11 points. To be fair, just 2 points behind Genoa in 17th.
Fiorentina, man, I can't get used to that.
It's happening.
Such a jump scare when it's happening.
It's happening.
I can't believe
we'll talk about it.
Yeah, I can't believe they keep losing, man. Like, Jesus Christ.
Mental.
Literally. Roma 3, Genoa 1, a Monday night classic. De Rossi's first match against Roma as a manager. Flags and tributes could be seen in the stands. It was a warm welcome from the fans, but not a warm welcome from Roma, the team, who absolutely pinned him back and shagged him. So Roma were missing El Ainawi, Bove, Pellegrini, Indica and Bailey, of course. Bove goes without saying, poor guy.
Yeah.
Isn't there a different rule in the Premier League when it comes to the pacemaker?
You can't play with a pacemaker in other leagues.
Why hasn't he left? Why hasn't he gone? Does he want to play? I want to read up on this.
Call him.
Give him a call, man. Ask him.
I don't know, honestly. I don't know.
Yeah. Genoa were missing Sigrist, Messias, Grombeck, Cornet and Leali. As for the lineups, this time Matthew was more prepared than I was. So, Roma lined up in their 3-4-2-1 formation with Zvilar in goal, Mancini, Zolkowski and Hermoso at the back, with Celik and Wesley on the flanks, Cristante and Cohen in the middle, Soule and Dybala playing off the shoulders of Evan Ferguson. For Genoa, it was a 3-5-2 formation with Somariva at the back, in goal, Vasquez, Ottawa and Ostigard forming the back three, with Martin and Norton Coffey on the flanks, Ellertson, Friendrup and Malinovsky in the middle, with Ekuban and Vitinha starting together up front.
As for those of you that haven't heard of Zolkowski, he joined this season from Legia Warsaw, so no one is really too familiar with him.
He's a monster.
He's very good. He's 194 meters, which makes him stand very tall. He's only 20 years old, and he's made 6 appearances this season already. He's pretty good.
He's been very strong. So Roma struck first in the 14th minute after a defensive lapse by Vasquez, who headed the ball between his keeper and defense. Soule collected the ball and finished expertly. What a finish by Soule, so cool, calm and composed, and he gets fired up immediately when he scores. You see him running off in celebration. It's always a nice sight to see. In the 19th minute, it was Kone's turn to score. There was a quick Roma combination which saw Ferguson lay off a pass into the path of Kone, who finished well. It was helped by a deflection granted. Roma's tempo, high tempo, could be seen over here very, very clearly. They were just in a gear that Genoa hadn't even reached yet, and then they were really punishing them. Like the way that ball was just moving in the box, it should have been dealt with immediately. It was too easy for Genoa. For Roma, yes. In the 31st minute, Ferguson made it 3-0. Malinovsky's turn to fuck up. He was holding the ball for too long on the edge of the area, and he hit the ground, appealing for a foul. Play continued, of course, because it was never a foul, and Soule's initial effort was saved, and Ferguson was quickest to tap in the rebound, or rather to scuffle in the rebound. This goal pretty much sealed the deal right before halftime, 15 minutes before halftime. In the 37th minute, Kone had the ball in the back of the net as well, but it was cancelled because he had fouled the keeper. And Genoa, eventually, when they did pick up some momentum later in the game, when Roma decided to sit back, they took Soule out because of a suspected injury. You know how it goes. They got a consolation goal from a set-piece situation when Ekator struck from close range after a loose ball in the box, rewarding them for their persistence, I guess, but it was over, you know. Dominant, Roma. Dominant, very high tempo. Genoa had no response.
No, absolutely overwhelmed, and you saw a massive difference in class between the two teams, right? Roma came out and played that Gasperini football, which we haven't seen Roma do too much. High tempo and quite a high press as well, forcing errors out of their opponents in Genoa. What they did well over here is the smelling of blood, right? Something that Inter are very good at, where you get your goals, like you notice a chink in the armor of your opponent and you double down on that, and you continue to attack through the middle, and you continue to attack with velocity and to press high, and they force these errors out of Genoa and they kill the game off so early. And that's the best way to win a game, right? Because and then you can rotate, your players can take it a bit easier, and you know they got to take their foot off of De Rossi's neck a little bit and let him breathe. Yeah, for De Rossi, this would have been the worst case scenario because he set up to be compact and reactive, but they couldn't handle the pressure, quite frankly, and then you have to change your entire plan. You go into halftime, you're 3-0 down, it's done and dusted. Worst case scenario completely. The good news is that they managed to score against a very defensively organized team that doesn't concede much, and they scored from a set piece, which is always a good weapon for the lower teams. For sure. Yeah. I thought it was cool to see Manu Kone score in this game, man. Gasperini's asking for more goals from him. I think he's right. I think Kone, what would separate, like, I compare him a lot to Thuram, you know this, and I would almost take Thuram over Kone because of the output difference between the two. Okay. I do probably prefer Kone with the ball at his feet, but Thuram, and then he has better output. I think if Kone got, what Gasperini said is, if Kone had better numbers, he wouldn't be a Roma player. That's what he said. I think that's what Gasperini said. I love the way Gasperini phrases things as well. When asked about Ferguson, he was like, when the ball is fit, I choose him 100 times over. Like, take it easy. Hey, be careful. You're the manager. He's angry, yeah. He's always angry, Gasperini. Speaking of Roma, they finished the year with the most points in Serie A. This is official. I did some digging. It's 82 points in 2025. Crazy. Inter second with 77 points and Napoli with 75 points. Insane. Yes. Insane. What a run it is for Roma after such a slow start they had last season,
Yeah. I don't know if you want to check, bro, if there's an update on that Sule substitution in the 57th minute. I think he might have taken a knock, or I'm not sure if he was injured. But in the meantime, I'll mention that Zvilar punched Ostigard in the face at the end of the first half when coming out to claim a ball. The commentator claimed it was a clattering of heads, but it was literally, it probably should have been a penalty, to be honest, for Genoa, because Ostigard literally got punched in the face, and you could hear him like whining on the floor. And this was one of those rare occasions where Dybala played 90 minutes. I'm not sure if it was necessary. This was a game, for example, I would have benched Dybala to protect him
or taken him out, rather.
Yeah.
Because I really like Dybala and Sule, as much as we say like they can't play together and whatever, which still there's a part of me that thinks that they're actually the two perfect profiles for a 3-4-2-1 kind of wingers, but like inverted wingers. I wish they had a right footer and a left footer, but technically they're both perfect for that role. This says an apparent muscle injury
That's not
reported
good.
by Gianluca Di Marzio, but there isn't much more information.
I mean, this was yesterday, so maybe nothing came out yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, muscle injury, damn. That would be an apparent muscle injury. That would be a big loss for Roma. Yeah, but I thought this was very, very impressive by Roma, who continue to show that they are here to stay, and they're pushing for it, man. They're top 4 contenders through and through.
Yeah, I think they need to be doing better against the top teams, but it's impressive how they just continue to beat these smaller teams one game after another. I think there was a slip up against Torino, but otherwise against the smaller teams they have a really good record.
They do, absolutely.
Excellent. Let's jump to Lecce.
One more thing, they are in 4th with 33 points, and Genoa in 17th with 14 points. Quite low, Genoa?
Yes, they're in trouble.
They're in trouble. Yes, yeah.
Lecce 0, Como 3 is the next game we're going to be talking about. Lecce's game against Inter was postponed, of course, due to Supercoppa, but they were coming off a 1-0 rare victory over Pisa. They missed Fruchtl, Gaspar, Banda, Berisha, Koulibaly and Marjvinski. Como's game against Milan was also postponed. They were coming off back-to-back losses to Inter and Roma. They missed Goldaniga, Diao, Morata, Addai and Kakere. Lecce lined up in a 4-1-4-1 formation with Falcone in goal, backline of Gallo, Gabriel, Siebert and Vega. Ramadani was the defensive midfielder with Male and Kaba ahead of him. Sotil and Pierotti were the wingers with Stulic up front. 4-2-3-1 for Fabregas' men, Boutte in goal, backline of Smolcic, Ramon, Carlos and Moreno, Perrone and Acuna in the double pivot with Voivoda, Nico Paz and Jesus Rodriguez playing behind Duvikas. So in the 20th minute, Paz opened the scoring. It was a bit controversial, I would say. He turned Ramadani as the Albanian went down clutching his face due to a flailing arm by Nico Paz. He shot from distance. It took a wild deflection off of Gabriel and looped over. I'm going to tell you what I saw when I was watching the game. The first viewing. Paz gets the ball. Elbows a fucker in the face. Turns, shoots it into a player. It loops over the keeper and Paz does a cocky celebration. And I'm like, this is obviously gonna be called off and whatever, but it wasn't. It was a flailing arm. It wasn't a swinging arm.
I think we have this, Nick, in the video. This is the Nico Paz one of Como.
The flailing arm.
Yeah, the flailing arm. I didn't think the arm was flailing. I thought that he was shielding the ball, and it just happens that he's taller than Ramadani, so he ended up kind of making contact with the face. But for me, I think if this had been ruled out, it would have been extremely harsh, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it there. It's a bit small.
I'm completely uncertain.
Best commentary.
Look at that. So there's contact. And it's a bizarre goal.
Yeah. Show the contact, right? It's not very clear, but it's not really
No, there is contact with the face. It's not malicious. But when I saw the angle that I saw on YouTube, you could tell that there's contact because of the way Ramadani's face moves.
Yeah.
Like his cheeks, it's like like that. Like there's obvious contact. And for me, I don't know, typically with head injuries, face injuries, whatever, I thought you should stop immediately, albeit or not. Paz meant to hit him. Now I could be sitting here and that goal was cancelled. I'd be saying that's a game's gone kind of thing. But it just seems bizarre that a player stopped defending because he was struck in the face and he hit the ground because he was actually there was contact and then he went down.
There was contact, but
I
don't
think he made a meal of it.
I think he made a massive meal of it. I think that first he's smart to make a meal of it, of course, because you feel contact. I think it was more than an elbow to the face. It was an upper arm to the chin from the shield.
It's still not nice.
It's not nice, but it's not a foul in my opinion.
I think there's an element of controversy to it. I won't say I'm so on the side of it should be cancelled, but it did rub me the wrong way when I watched it, honestly. I think the referee had Paz on his Fanta. He's like, I'm gonna give this goal to him first and foremost, even though it's the wildest fucking deflection ever. And Ramadan needs to stop being a pussy. He needs to get up. He didn't touch it.
Yeah, not a good week for Albanians, Nick. Ramadan here in Dream City. Yeah.
You still have time to change that, brother.
Yes.
You can fix the week for Albanians. How? Get creative. But I don't know, bro. Have sex with her. I don't fucking buy her something to eat. Buy her something nice.
Our producer's girlfriend is Albanian.
Yes. I'm not calling Ramadani a woman. 62nd minute. Ramon makes it 2-0. Some confusion inside the box. Vojvoda nods the ball to the back post and Ramon volleys it home from close range. 72nd minute, Duvikas made it 3-0 as Paz played a disguised through ball and Duvikas runs onto the end of it and beats Falcone with a brilliant first time finished. There was a late disallowed... No, there wasn't a late disallowed goal. There was a... Duvikas attempted a bicycle kick at a point, but it was... I'm
a big fan of Duvikas.
I like Duvikas, man.
I like how direct he is. I like how he turns and faces the opponent regardless of where he's at, but he does it in a very composed way. I like how literally you give him the ball with his back against the goal. Even this one, he just turns.
Yeah.
He turns in the little space he has and shoots. He's very instinctive.
I'd like to see more of him. I'd like to see more of him.
Yes, he's not that young. He's 26, but he's a Greek international, and he has quite a bit of experience as well, having played for Utrecht and Celta Vigo.
I'm quite a fan of Duvikas. In fact, I've picked him up on Fanta. I think that given more minutes, he could be a very reliable striker for Como. I get why they'd have to make a decision between him and Morata because they both give you something different. But I think the main takeaway from this is very good on Como to get over that slump of 2 losses to 2 top teams. Let's be honest, 2 teams that are 100 years ahead of Como when it comes to the project. But a good clean 3-0 victory over here, albeit to Lecce. I think this is the best case scenario for Como in this game.
Yes, totally. And Lecce are always going to struggle. Their creative players are all gone. They're either injured or in Africa.
Yes, bro. There's Banda, Koulibaly and Gaspar in Africa. And then injured, they have Morente, Berisha, Pierret and Fruchtel.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to be a tough little run until AFCON's over for them because even Seibert isn't the same as Gaspar, at all. And Gaspar and Gabriel formed quite a good duo, quite a strong duo at the back. I'm very impressed by Gabriel, man.
I'm very impressed by Gabriel.
Yeah. He's really skinny. He's really tall and lanky.
He has but
then he's
that
quite
kind
dominant.
of build, but then he's strong. He's really strong. He knows how to use his body in that sense. Prove it. I was impressed as always by Van der Bremt. I thought he had a great block at a point.
He did, man. Who was it on?
Insane block, man.
It was a moment where I think Sotil was it? Who had a shot and
or
he
was
got
it Stulic?
I'm not sure. I can't remember,
I'm
but
not
it was.
sure.
But
Oh,
it was a. He had to make up a lot of ground, and he got there in
Someone
time.
made
And he
I
slid.
think Boutte misplaced a pass, and there was a dangerous situation. Van der Bremt came. Brilliant fucking ballsy block by him, celebrated it like a goal. I think you do that, you win my heart pretty much. Boutte needs to be careful. I've seen him with his distribution. I believe the reason Fabregas got him is because he wants a goalkeeper that can play the ball with his feet, so I'm sure he's capable. But he's made some mistakes recently that caught my eye. But that's all. Great win by Como. I didn't really expect anything from Lecce, and I think they're really going to struggle until they get these guys back from AFCON. They're already struggling as is.
Agreed. And shout out to Di Francesco who got a red card.
Yes, he got a. I forgot to mention that point actually. Got red carded immediately after Paz's goal from protests.
Exactly. It was elbow. And the ref was like, natural, bro. I've got him on Fanta.
He does look a bit like Gino da Campo, Di Francesco. I'm not fucking going crazy.
Does he?
Nick's on it. Nick loves
Di Francesco
these.
like Gino da Campo?
Yes.
I don't see it.
The face. Ignore everything else. The face, man. Guys, am I going crazy?
I think Gino has a charismatic sparkle in his eyes, while Di Francesco.
Okay, well, definitely, what Gino da Campo has that Di Francesco doesn't is work done to his face.
Really? No, I don't know.
Gino has some things done. Gino's Hollywood, bro. Di Francesco is a la Serie A relegation battle.
Yeah, he does have work done.
Absolutely has work done.
I never actually thought about that.
That's Di Francesco. In my eyes, that is Di Francesco if he got work done to his face.
That's hilarious.
It's a stretch. It's a stretch.
If you had to suck all the sex appeal out of Gino da Campo,
God, what you're gonna say? I would have chosen Gino. All
right. You get
right.
Di Francesco, but anyway, yeah. Interesting. I like these comparisons, bro. This should
If
be
I
our show.
think of another, if I think of another one, I'll.
Ostergaard looks like John Cena. No, was it Randy Orton?
Randy Orton slithering in.
Another segment. That's all we need. Another segment.
That's what we need.
Every episode before we record, we're like, wisdom with the wank. Fuck. we're all on Instagram, like looking through Sibby and Wankwo's posts. Have we done this one?
He hasn't been fucking posting, man.
He's just been scoring
We
goals.
need a Notion board with all of his quotes. I don't know how we don't fucking have one. Like, I know why we don't.
See me come back.
See me come back.
Living in a Nigerian world,
And
I am a Nigerian girl.
That's the intro.
Yeah, this happened. Yeah, this is how you know we're an hour and a half in, because we're becoming delirious.
Exactly.
Yeah, real ones listen till this point.
Sorry.
Is it my turn?
Yes, it's your turn.
So Bologna 1, Sassuolo 1, a derby, as Matty mentioned in the intro, and it was quite exciting. It was actually a very clumsy. Wait, what am I doing? I'm just getting straight into the action. No foreplay.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I would really recommend that all of you go to Bologna. Really young, vibrant city, man.
Yes, there's really good university there.
Yes. Don't joke with women over there, but
I think that was more of a Matthew problem, but moving on forward.
I think I listened. There's no Allah woman that had middle finger in my face because I liked her, so I was just a smaller player. She fell for it, and I put a spritz in one hand and a fucking cigarette in the other one.
Hilarious. Ravaglia was in goal for Bologna, of course, in their 4-2-3-1 formation, with Zortea and Miranda as the fullbacks, Vitic and Lukumi as a centre-back partnership, Mora and Pobega as a double pivot, with Orsolini and Jonathan Rowe playing out wide, and Fabian playing off the very narrow shoulders of Dalinga. For Sassuolo, it was Muric in goal in their 4-3-3, with Kande, Muharemovic, Jay Itzes and Valukovic at the back, Kone, Matic and Tordsvet in the middle, with Volpato on the right, Laurionte on the left, and Pinamonti up front. Of course, Bologna were missing Hegem and Bernardeschi, as well as Cambiaghi, and Skorupski was doubtful, while Casale was only fit enough for the bench.
Of course, Bernardeschi at AFCON.
Yes. Representing Nigeria, of course. Woyo Koulibaly, Jefferson Paz, no idea, never heard of him. Never heard of Jefferson Paz.
Jefferson Paz.
We'll call him Jefferson because there's a Y and I speak English. Okay? It's because he's Colombian.
So from now it's Wojo Koulibaly as well.
No, babe, we'll have Paz at home. Romania, Bologna, Pierangelo, they were all out for Sassuolo.
Even Pierangelo, man.
Pierangelo was out as well, man.
Pierangelo, he wasn't at the church.
Yeah. It was a clumsy first half, as I was saying, with Lukumi accidentally playing Pinamonti through 1v1 early on, and it was a really bad mistake, and it was very embarrassing because Pinamonti still had quite a while to get to the ball. Like Lukumi had quite a few yards on him, and he managed to outpace him, Pinamonti. And ended up one-on-one with Travaglia, who did well to make himself big and save the shot. And then Loriente ended up attempting an audacious chip from outside of the box on the rebound, just hitting the roof of the net. The pride of Indonesia, it says, had the whole nation holding its breath as he almost scored an own goal an hour in. It was cleared off the line by Kande. Volpato clipped the outside of the post as well, so it was mostly Sassuolo who looked very dangerous in the first half, and this would be a theme going into the second half as well, apart from the very beginning, because as they came out in the 47th minute, immediately after halftime, Bologna struck through Fabian. The move started with a quick forward ball from midfield. Zortea's overlap on Orsolini allowed Fabian to sweep home from about 12 yards out. The nation held its breath again as Fabian's shot deflected off Itzes, but thankfully it wasn't given as an own goal. In the 63rd minute, Tarik Muharemovic equalized with a header from a corner. Travaglia actually misjudged his aerial clears. There were quite a few bodies in his way. I didn't like the way he commanded his area over here. You know, you have to sort that out.
Yeah.
He was obstructed, he came out, he misjudged the ball, and he allowed the Sassuolo defender to nod in from close range. Thords and Fadera missed very good chances before the end of the game. They were both one-on-one, and Loriente, also one-on-one from a very tough angle, forced Travaglia into a good save too. Bologna dominated the ball, bro. Circulation, build-up play, patient, side to side, but they didn't press very high, and they opted for a mid-block that invited Sassuolo into possession in deeper zones before trying to win the ball higher up. I thought that this was an interesting approach that could have cost them a lot, personally.
What about it do you find it, it's
I think they allowed Sassuolo too much space in behind their midfield. Too much.
Especially with obviously with Loriente and likes that are a lot quicker. And Volpato as well has been really lively and dangerous. They were just in transition, man, on the break. They were having a real lot of success, and I think Bologna were lucky, to be honest, to not lose this. To be honest, I thought Sassuolo were, for large parts, the more threatening team. Of course, Bologna saw more of the ball because they play a more controlling style of football, but Sassuolo, with the opportunities that you are getting, funny enough, it makes total sense what you're saying, because they did have those 1v1 opportunities that typically you don't get every day when you play against Bologna, so they were doing something wrong for sure. I think you're right.
Yes, and Sassuolo, as usual, have been playing like they've played a lot direct, taking advantage of transitions and the players they have, the experience and the composure they have in midfield. With Matic, who's been so impressive this season in his old age, and just even with Berardi out, man, like they can still bring in a player like Volpato, who looks like he's meant to be the starter. He's been playing so well.
And then even on the bench, there's Fadera, who we remember from Como. He's a very tricky and dangerous little winger as well. A point I have over here is that Muharemovic is giving shades of Dragusin, who also had 2 goals and 1 assist by January. He was a defensive rock for Genoa and a set-piece target, and it seems that that's what Sassuolo are doing right now. Muharemovic, don't imagine a giant. He's 6'2", which is big, but not crazy. It's
mostly a matter of intelligence, movement, and just strength that he is able to dominate.
And they utilize him well. I mean, don't forget, this guy got a goal and an assist against Fiorentina. And he's very important in, like, much like Dragusin was, from set plays, especially when they have like of Volpato and Berardi who stand over those. One of which is a very important kind of player to have. And another goal for him. You know what I mean? He's really showing us that he can be a goal-scoring centre-back.
22 years old, born in Slovenia, but represents Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Judas.
He played 47 games for Juve's next gen, and he actually scored twice for them as well. A player to keep an eye on. But I thought, that pretty much sums up my thoughts for this game. I think Bologna need reinforcements, man.
In where?
That's a great question. I think that Immobile is coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Slowly he's being reintegrated. I still like the way he moves, but I'm not sure if I trust that he can stay healthy. I think in the striker department, they're okay. It's not terrible. They've got Linga, Castro, they've got Immobile. I think in that...
Perhaps a midfield and a pivot.
Yes, man. In that pivot.
Like, shocker in a game where they didn't secure all 3 points. Freuler wasn't on the pitch, for example. Mora and Pobega are good off the ball. I think on the ball they leave a lot to be desired in that sense. So I think they could use some reinforcements in the double pivot. You know what I think is strange as well when it comes to the attacking midfield and the left wing role? I feel like they have a lot of interchangeable players. And none of them stand out. Like, there's Jonathan Rowe, there's Cambiaghi, there's Fabian, there's Pessina, there's what's his name, Benji Dominguez, for example. I think over there no one has really gotten that role, grabbed it by the scruff of its neck,
and made it theirs. Pessina's the goalkeeper, 18 years old.
My bad. Yes.
No, you're right. And for example, like Bernardeschi has had important moments, but he hasn't been consistent to a level that you'd expect a starter to be. And the same can be said for Jonathan Rowe, for example, who has had decent performances, but I'm often left wanting when I watch Jonathan Rowe. It's also that number 10 position, maybe, man, could also be addressed, like right behind the striker, because you see Fabian sometimes, you see Odegaard sometimes as well, who's quite
to be honest, I think Odegaard is very good for that role.
Yes,
I like Odegaard. I like the way he can join midfield pretty well as well.
Yes, but he's so inconsistent, man. How often does he actually contribute to goals and assists, for example?
Yeah.
I do think they need reinforcements, which is weird because they brought in a lot of players and like they're kind of the same level, in my opinion.
That's it. Yeah. That tends to happen when you lose stars as a couple. Keep in mind they lost Dan and Doy the season before that. We know who they lost with Xerxes, Calafiori, etc. Don't really have the budget to just get in that caliber of player. They're about the fines. I wouldn't be surprised if, for example, Jonathan Rowe finds his feet or Cambiaghi starts to get more minutes and has a bit of a breakout season. But yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, we can say that Bologna are in 7th with 26 points, while Sassuolo aren't that far behind at all in 9th with 22 points.
We'll jump to Udinese 1, Lazio 1, or as everyone is calling it nowadays, Il Derby dello Figlio di Zaccagni. Udinese were coming off a horrific 5-1 loss to Fiorentina, missing Okoye, Atta, Zemura, Bayo and Modesto. Lazio are coming off a 0-0 draw to Cremonese following the Parma game, missing Rovella, Gigo, Basic, Guendouzi, Dia, Delebashiru and Hisai. 3-5-2 formation for Runjai's men with Padelli in goal and a backline of Soleka, Basele and Christensen. Bertolau was on the left with Zanoli on the right, and the midfield three of Eklinkamp, Karlstrom and Pietrovski with Davis and Zaniolo leading the line. 4-3-3 for Sarri's men, Provedel in goal, backline of Marusic, Hila, Romagnoli and Pellegrini, midfield three of Belayan, Cataldi and Vesino with Cancelleri and Zaccagni flanking Tiani, Noslin. There were some early chances in the game. Noslin had a chance that went just wide at the far post. Zaniolo had a powerful strike deflected wide, and even Eklinkamp had Nodded a chance quite wide as well. But the opener actually came pretty late on in the game. Cancelleri had a couple of efforts on target saved by Padelli, closer to that, but then the breakthrough came in the 81st minute. Cancelleri set up Vecino, whose long-range effort was scuffed but deflected off of Umar Soleh, wrong-footing Padelli and pretty much straight into the middle with the goalkeeper diving the wrong way. This was the clearest definition of an own goal you could get as visual aid.
Totally changed the trajectory of it. Kind of like Nico Paz's goal, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. But then Udinese threw everything forward, right? They conceded in the 81st minute. What do you have to lose? Just go for it. Isaacson was clean through on goal on the break for Lazio. He has a player there with no one on him. Clear goal.
Yep.
Open net.
I think it was Castellani.
I think so. But he goes for a goal. The keeper saves it. And moments later, they charge down the pitch, Udinese. Zaniolo shoots. It hits the striker, Davis, potentially hitting his arm. He turned, he held the ball, turned, cut inside, and curled a left-footed finish from the edge of the area into the far corner. VAR checked it but allowed it, and Udinese essentially grabbed a 95th minute equalizer.
Did VAR check it? I wasn't sure if VAR could because of the
On my
touches
notes
that
I
were
have that
taken.
VAR checked it, which I would have gotten from Football Italia. I'm not sure. I'll double check that.
Yeah, it was a weird one. We also have a video of this one, Nick. It's the Udinese handball of Davis. Nicky boy.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
No
no
worries.
problem. We have a replay.
Again, the angle wouldn't be quite clear, but you get quite a
The one above it.
good
Yeah,
idea
that's the
of
one.
it.
I think this one's a bit better, the angle.
But this is a stretch, in my opinion, by Lazio fans.
No, this isn't the one.
Oops, this isn't
This
it.
isn't the
This
one.
is a spoiler, however.
Do I not have it, man?
Could be,
Wait,
yeah.
it might be the next one then. The
Did you
next
send it? Are you sure you sent it?
I think so. I sent 3
'Cause
links
it
today.
was-
That second one maybe was that.
Let's have a look.
This is. I wonder what our listeners would be thinking when this is happening.
Thinking they're about to show us a good video.
And it's gone.
Alright, it's
All right,
gone.
never
They've
mind,
taken
yes.
it down.
For me, the arm was with the body. And too many touches were taken after, which is literally a rule, like too much time has passed until the goal was scored to actually intervene. So, I don't know. But for me, the fact that his arm was like this and it didn't really change the trajectory of the ball.
I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And there was also... Someone spoke out about it. I'm trying to find the source. But here it says... Davis's equalizer for Udinese was ruled valid by the refereeing authorities, with both referee Colombo and VAR Garillo applying the rules correctly. The arm touch didn't count as an infraction because it wasn't immediate enough to fall under the handball rule. There were 8 touches, dribbling past 2 opponents, and the final shot all within 9 seconds.
Exactly, yeah.
Even though the decision was technically correct, it highlights ongoing ambiguity in the rules around immediacy. For context, this principle has caused controversy before. Meister's goal for Pisa against Fiorentina was disallowed for an immediate arm touch, while Ibrahimovic's famous 2020 goal against Fiorentina
That's what I was going to
was
tell you.
also ruled out for a similar reason.
And there were so many touches between that, exactly.
Yep.
And there was one, bro, last season, Lazio, I believe, Rovella. Remember he had a game, Rovella, where he scored and then I think he got sent off or something.
Yes.
It was... Yeah. Or he scored and then he scored and it was disallowed and he scored
It's
an
good
own goal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Terrible.
But there were this was another weird week of refereeing in Serie A. One thing I did mention is there was the Milan's penalty was quite harsh in that sense, as in Nkunku knew what he was doing. In Cremonese and Napoli, there was a situation, according to this, related to Zerbin. In Lecce Como, the red card of Di Francesco, and in Torino Cagliari, which we'll discuss soon, there was also another moment. So these inconsistencies are really starting to piss everyone off. However, to me, this was once again the right call by the referee and by VAR. So I don't think Lazio fans and apparently Lazio wrote to Serie A saying like, you're fucking us, you're targeting us, etc.
They asked for a meeting because so far it's been radio silence from Lazio constantly after all these things. In fact, Sarri hasn't even been attending the press conferences. And no, but there's a reason. I believe it was last time Sarri was at Lazio and he complained about the referees. Lazio stood up for the referees. Something weird like that.
Odd.
Yeah,
Odd.
But yes, I think that you do get some kind of advantage from complaining.
Yes.
Conte complains and then referees worry before they give controversial decisions. They worry, it's psychological, it gets in their head, he's going to make a massive fucking deal out of this. They're less inclined to fuck you. Do I like that? No, but it
is a part of the game, but it just rubs me the wrong way when there's
how many things rub you the wrong way, bro? What thing rubs you the right way?
Your mom.
We're brothers.
Fuck yeah. Don't worry, Lazio. Insigne has landed in Rome.
Oh, terrible. Has he really?
He has landed.
He's
in
going to
Rome,
actually
yes.
join
Yes,
them.
yes,
That's
yes,
the worst signing they could potentially
and
make.
Lazio are also eyeing, you mentioned Tavares hasn't been playing. They're looking at Aaron Martin.
Nice.
They're looking at Valeri. And then they're looking at Parisi.
Interesting.
I like Martin. I like Valeri. I don't like Parisi.
Parisi's okay.
I don't like him.
Okay.
I think he's very soft.
Yeah, he is soft. He's weak.
And like, just there's nothing like. He's the Brahim Diaz of left backs. He's too small. I feel like he's constantly on the ground, and sometimes they are.
Oh wow, he's 25 nowadays.
Parisi.
Yeah.
What? He's no spring chicken, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
He's not my favorite.
He should be a bit stronger. It's
He's
true.
not my favorite left back,
fair enough,
but I
fair
like Martin and I like Valeri. I think they give you both like that goal scoring threat, and they're also quite sound defensively.
They're looking at midfielders as well. I saw they were linked to a few Cremonese ones.
Yes, they're of course linked as well to
Loftus.
Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Could be very good for them. West Ham and Leeds.
They need an
They need in every position. Lazio need a player.
It's so dire right now, their situation, that when Castellanos is unavailable, all the Lazio fans are going, oh, Castellanos, how much we miss him. And now that he's back, everyone's like, oh shit, man, Castellanos, this guy isn't a striker, he's not a striker.
West Ham and Leeds want Tati.
I like Tati, and the right system, I think he'll be good, but he's not the type of striker that Sarri thrives with. Imagine Higuain, that type of striker, And I saw that they were linked also to a loan for Lorenzo Lucca. When has Sarri ever had a striker like Lorenzo Lucca? I can't think of a single time.
It's true. Yeah. Just to speak a bit about this game, I thought Gila had a
messy one,
nightmare.
Yeah.
Quite not a nightmare, but a very messy performance. He kept giving the ball away in dangerous areas, and then he picked up a yellow card, and Sarri seemed frustrated with him and took him off. By the way, Sarri just underwent heart surgery. It was a minor. It said in this article that it was a minor surgery, and it was planned obviously because of a condition that he has, but apparently all went well, in case anyone was concerned about Maurizio Sarri in his age. When there's an operation, surgery especially, it's
how old is he nowadays?
Concerning. 64. What? Sarri age, let's have a look. 66.
He's 66?
He's 66.
That's as old as Spalletti and Gasperini, if I'm not mistaken. Because I found out that Spalletti and Gasperini are the same age, and it blew my mind.
Okay, interesting.
Right. Right.
Crazy.
Right.
Crazy. But anyway, Udinese are at the moment one of the teams that intrigue me the most in Serie A. I think they're having such a good season. I think they're having a great season. That game against Fiorentina, which I didn't watch, is bizarre to me. How they got blown out of the water in that fashion against Fiorentina. To be honest, I don't know what happened. in that game.
It was a red card, bro, that literally like filled Fiorentina with confidence, and they rode the wave, and everyone had a bite, and then by the end of it, like
there was a red card early on.
There was a red card. It was, what's his name, the goalkeeper, Okoye.
Of
Okoye
course,
got sent off very early on. He came out clumsily. Apparently, there was a bit of a fight between Zaniolo and Okoye. As well, this is all the media reported. Apparently, it's been reported allegedly. I'm not sure I believe this, but Zaniolo told him something about match fixing.
Legend.
But in fact, then they scored in the 21st through Mandragora, the one player I think who deserves. Mandragora is kind of the guy who's shouldering the responsibility of this team, and in fact he was the one who scored the most difficult goal in a 5-1 victory, which would be the first one, you know.
Yeah.
And then Goodmanson got one, and Doer scored, and Keane scored two at the end, and they still managed to concede somehow.
They lost their heads in that game, Udinese, but I've been really, really impressed by Udinese this season in particular. I think there's something special about them this year, and I just think Zaniolo has been such a good addition to this team. The way he carries this team in the final third, the way it's almost like his instruction is, bro, just get the ball, take on a man and fucking have it. Yeah. Don't try any of this link up shit, just literally be as direct as you can be.
Yeah.
And playing that way, he's a huge asset to this team.
He is, and he has started playing like this out of sync with Atta, who's been unavailable. So imagine them together. I think they will get better. I think Udinese have performed very well against the big teams and quite poorly against the lower ones, to be honest.
Record-wise, right? Yeah, they've racked up a few losses against the smaller teams, but I think they'll. I think they have a chance to like finish in the 10th spot this year. Classic. I think they have it in them, but they've been a bit below that recently.
It's true, fair.
But I see something like good in them.
Nice. Shall we?
Yep.
Torino 1, Cagliari 2. Is this our last one?
Your last one.
It's my last one. Okay, very good. Which one's your last one?
Pisa, Fiorentina.
Oh, yes.
No, not Pisa, sorry. Parma, Fiorentina.
Torino 1, Cagliari 2. So, let's get to the formations. Cagliari continue to impress, and before it was all about their home dominance, Cagliari, but they're changing the tide. They're proving that they're more about that. You know, they lose their first striker, no problem. They lose their second striker, no problem. Cagliari are a real team this season, and they lined up in this game in a 3-5-1-1 formation with Caprile in goal, Luperto, Deola and Zappa at the back. Notice this defensive trio. Deola is a midfielder, and Zappa is a right back, and they're forming a back three. Yes,
incredible.
Of course, that is due to the fact that they have quite a few players out. But anyway, yes, they had Palestra on the right with Idrissi on the left, with Mazzitelli, Prati and Adopo in the middle, Gaetano and Kilic Soy playing together up front. For Torino, it was a 3-4-1-2 formation with Paleari at the back, Tameze, Maripan and Ismaili. Paleari in goal with Tameze, Maripan and Ismaili at the back, Pedersen on the right, Lazaro on the left, Genetis and Aslani in the middle with Vlasic playing behind Simeone and Shea Adams. So 7 minutes in is when the drama happened. It is the first link, Nick, that we can click. It's the one that you opened before. So yes, 7 minutes in, Idrissi was fouled by Paleari 1-on-1. Now Daniele Doveri had called offside, but was summoned to the VAR monitor to double check what was going on. He saw through VAR that it was onside, and he said, because there was no offside, this is with the microphone, right? They're talking to the stadium. Because there is no offside, it will be a drop ball. So and I found this very weird.
There was
that to me is a clear foul
and red card.
His studs are high, he hits him in the knee. Yeah. Granted, he touches the ball first with his hand, but his leg is way too high. It's in a danger. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I'll touch the ball
and then punch you in the face.
Like dick in your mouth, like it's a foul. No, but the ref didn't whistle when he saw the offside, right? He awarded an offside after the ball, after the action, right?
Because after the game, Doveri stood his ground and said there was no foul. He said he touches the ball with his hand.
Is he fucking stupid? No, this is a bizarre. Has any action been taken against Doveri?
Look him up, Daniele Doveri. Because that's ridiculous to me. And it was a long check, lengthy check. Anyway, you can check that. I'll get into the action of the game in the meantime. So yes, and then it was in the 28th minute for Nikola Vlasic to complete his record, scoring in every single game that was played by Torino in December. He finished from close range after Torino played a quick build-up that exploited a mismatch between Simeone's pace and Cagliari's backline, funnily enough, because Cagliari's backline is not a backline. There's Zappa there who's very fast, for example. Caprile initially saved, but he couldn't stop the follow-up, and he was nowhere to be seen with the goalpost gaping, and Vlasic eventually just guided it into the back of the net. The 1-1 came just before halftime. Cagliari equalized from a corner. Mazzitelli's flick-on found Prati at close range, who finished calmly with a touch inside the 6-yard box. And then in the 66th minute, it was time for Semi Kilic. It was a stunning solo effort. He picked up the ball inside his own half. He dribbled past multiple defenders. He was looking for the pass, but he realized it wasn't on and just kept dribbling and dribbling and dribbling before eventually placing it perfectly low and hard into the corner. After that, Caprile made 2 good saves on Genetis and Duvan, father of Daphne. Torino thought they had a late equalizer in stoppage time via a superb volley by Cyril Ngonge, but the goal was ruled out because the cross had gone out of play before being delivered. So yes, did you find anything on Doveri? Has he been spanked?
Nothing about him getting spanked, just the fact that he didn't deem that a foul, which is crazy.
Crazy, yeah.
It's bizarre.
Crazy. No, he touched the ball. All right, man.
Okay, excellent.
Torino looked to build through possessional play, using Vlasic and Adams to link play and create space in between the lines. They controlled territory, but they often lacked the final third penetration to consistently threaten Cagliari. Cagliari played a compact low block and they countered very, very well. They relied on set-piece situations, to be honest, and I thought that they played this game absolutely perfectly. They got a set-piece goal and then a goal from some individual brilliance from their third-choice striker.
Yeah, I liked how Cagliari respected their opponents in this game. This is typically a game where Cagliari would typically take a draw. But I think they were cautious. They played very defensive. But yeah, I like how they respected their opponents. Like you said, they held back. They played like the slow block against them, and then they were always ready on the counter, using likes of Idrissi and Palestra, etc. As outlets. And again, Gaetano's so smooth with his link-up play.
Yeah.
I think this was a job well done by Cagliari.
Absolutely, yes, it was. And it's another disappointing result for Baroni, who's having a very weird time at Torino, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised if we had to see him get the sack this season.
This season? You think so?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Torino are doing terribly, and I'm not quite sure what their official ambitions would be, but they've got 5 wins, 5 draws, and 7 losses, and that would piss off the fans. The fans believe that this team, of course, is a historic team. They see it as one of the great teams in Italy, so they would be very pissed off to see it underachieving.
And in fact, in their last, I mean, they are coming off 2 victories, right? Against Cremonese and against Sassuol, 2 newly promoted teams at the end of the day. But they lost to Lecce recently. They got spanked by Como as well. I thought they did decently in the derby della Mole by drawing that 0-0. But I think you're probably right. I think for Torino standard of where they want to be, I don't think they're winning the games that they should be winning.
Yeah, and then it's like where they want to be, but they sell all their best players.
They sell all their best players, but
consistently.
I think where they want to be is closer to... Because they've been in this position for such a long time. And last season, when they had, remind me, Vanoli, and they literally got 10th or 11th place last season, they didn't keep Vanoli.
Yeah.
They instead got rid of Ricci, and now they expect that they're gonna get closer. They're gonna get closer to the Europa League and Conference League, where they're removing their best players, getting rid of their best players, Not giving the managers time.
But they signed Aslani from Inter, Simeone
amazing.
from Napoli.
Amazing,
like
amazing.
in theory, they're
that's
upgrading. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, it's Cairo, right? Cairo's got his grip on this team, and I think it's time to let go. Let it go. It's Cairo and Lotito, right? They're the guys who are overstaying their welcome and say, yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm done.
All right. On to me.
Wait, I'm not done. His last words. Torino are in 13th with 20 points and Cagliari in 14th with 18 points.
I'm gonna lie, guys, there was a struggle.
It was hard. It was hard this episode.
It was a hard one to get through. But lastly, Parma 1, Fiorentina 0. Parma were on fresh legs because their match against Napoli was postponed, and they were coming off a 1-0 loss to 9-man Lazio. They missed Ndai, Friggin, Suzuki, and Del Prato.
They missed friggin' Suzuki.
They missed for their friggin' Suzuki to training.
Hey, where's my friggin' Suzuki?
Fiorentina were coming off their first win of the season, 5-1 to Udinese. They missed Mari, Lamptey, Fazzini, Ranieri, and Sabiri. 4-3-3 formation for Questa's men. Corvi in goal, backline of Valeri, Valenti, Circati, and Brichgi. Sorensen, Keita, and Bernabe in midfield with Ondrejka on the left, Benedicak on the right, and Pellegrino up front. 3-5-2 formation for Fiorentina, David De Gea in goal, backline of Dodò, Comuzzo, and Pongracic, Parisi on the right, Viti on the left, and the midfield trio of Mandragora, Fagioli, and Endur, with Keane and Goodmanson up front together. The first half was cagey. Fiorentina had some early glimpses. Keane had a few opportunities. He headed straight at Corvi at a point, but Parma started to grow into the game, targeting Fiorentina's left flank. Despite some early chances, the teams went into the break level. The decisive moment came 3 minutes into the second half. Pellegrino flicked on a cross, and Oliver Sorensen timed his run perfectly to slot the ball in past David De Gea, giving Parma the lead. Fiorentina tried to respond, bringing on Piccoli to add attacking threat, but Parma's goalkeeper Corvi, to be honest, had a really, really good game. He denied Comuzzo brilliantly at a point, and even Goodmanson in the closing stages. And Parma managed to hold on to all 3 points. I thought Corvi, we said recently, Corvi, because Suzuki is going to be away in this period, Corvi needs to step up. And I think Corvi had a really good game over here, and he showed us that he is he had a save. He showed a really strong hand.
Yes, man.
And when I see that in a young goalkeeper, albeit he's not a sixth form student, you know what I mean? I think he's early 20s.
Corvi, let's confirm that.
But he had a really strong hand in one of the saves, which impressed me. And overall, he had a very clean performance. Like, Fiorentina had their chances,
Corvi's 24.
He's 24.
Very young for a keeper.
Yeah.
Young, I think he's older than the starter, isn't Suzuki? Or the same age?
He's young. I think they're around about the same age. But Parma set up in this 4-3-3 that really allowed them to gain control of the central areas. I think they dominated the midfield, and then they exploited Fiorentina's left side, particularly after halftime.
So Viti's side.
Yeah. But at halftime they took Viti out and they brought in the young boy, and they targeted it even harder.
So they brought on,
what's his name again? Fortini.
Fortini, yes.
Fortini.
He's been good,
he's been
Fortini,
good, but
he's a target.
They found a lot of success against them.
That Piccoli miss at the end.
Oh my god.
Like you're a number 9. It's meant to be your bread and butter.
Literally.
Your team's down in the dumps. The starting striker scored twice in a 5-1 victory, and that's pretty much it the whole season. Like, come on.
No, it's a disaster for Fiorentina.
No one's stepping up. It's insane. It's insane how I think the only one you can say is Mandragora, who's been stepping up.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. No, quite literally. I think Goodman's has been disappointing. I think Keane has been disappointing. But I think overall as a team, look, the team's fucked. The team is fucked from top to bottom. Now they're going for Paratici. And Paratici is apparently he already has his sights on Coppola from Brighton. He wants to get Coppola in on loan from Brighton.
All right.
Coppola for me had a good season. I don't think every season when Verona had
but he had a good season at a relegation side, so you can understand the logic, huh? and it might be a bargain.
Yes, but really, man, like
Coppola's, I like Coppola. I'm upset he didn't go to any other teams in Italy.
You sign Coppola, you decide as a top team. Let's say Milan are looking for a defender. You go, okay, there's Coppola, there's Comuzzo. We just want a young Italian centre back. There's Leoni. That's the level of. It's the same level as Comuzzo. It's not someone that's gonna come in. They say the Fiorentina fans say Ranieri isn't enough of a leader. You're gonna bring in.
But
He'd be a good addition, but he's not.
Ranieri's been erratic. Pongracic is getting a bit better,
Exactly,
but he's had
so
very.
bring someone with experience.
But Coppola, what he did with that Hellas Verona defense was brought a certain air of calm and solidity. Man, he was really good at Hellas. He was a leader in that defense almost.
He's not the solve, man.
I don't know. I mean, I doubt he's the solution to save them from relegation. I think
he's not the solution at the back. I think there are certain defenders. If you bring them in a good centre back, that can really sort this defensive situation out. And
I think the best way to sort this defensive situation out is to bring in a good midfielder, man, a good defensive midfielder. I think that's what needs to be done.
That's
priority
fair.
Over everything.
That's fair. Like, look how Milan's defense is way better when Rabiot is on the pitch, for example, because he provides that muscle, that shield. But now they're saying they're going to be very active in January. And I read somewhere they said that the only guarantees to stay at the club are Goodmanson and Keane. Otherwise, they just want to solve the situation. If it means that they have to let some people go, they're gonna let some people go. But we'll see what happens in January, if they're even gonna get Paratici. Apparently, it's quite close, but Paratici he's a big name in Italian football. Milan were considering Paratici for a while. He's quite a controversial figure.
Because he wasn't the sole orchestrator of the successful Juve days, and when he was handed the reins, he fucked up their entire team.
Exactly.
Right?
So, we'll wait and see what... I think, honestly, so Fiorentina at the stage where they are in the table is, of course, they're in last place. They have 9 points. They are 5 points from Genoa, who are in 17th. I still don't think, I said it's happening before, right? I was just being a little drama queen.
Yeah.
I still don't think Fiorentina are going to get relegated. I think that win and them being on 9 points and Genoa being on 14, I think it mathematically within a month they can be out of the relegation zone if they get a few good wins. But the problem is, I guess I'm just looking at it mathematically. I'm telling you mathematically. The problem is they just lost to Parma. You know? Just lost 1-0 to Parma.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
That's it. I mean, they're a direct... that's a game you should be winning to climb, like, not the 6-pointer that you're losing.
They're losing to everyone. Is the problem. Let me see what fixtures they have coming up.
Oh my god, bro, I just found an angle of the Davis handball that I had never seen before. Look at that. It's on his side of the body, but but in reality I can understand the frustration of Lazio fans, because the trajectory is goal bound, and it's not, and it's on his side, and maybe had his arm been, like, you know what I mean. I can send it to Nick so we can pull it up as well. But anyway, go on. You were saying?
I don't think we should pull this up. Like, we're on this game.
Yes, but just because we were looking for it before and we couldn't find it, and it just came up here, might as well.
Alright. Like, now Fiorentina need to play Cremonese, then they need to play Lazio, and right now I don't look at the game, for example, Fiorentina against Cremonese, and I can't confidently say that Fiorentina get anything out of that.
No, not at all. Because actually, they go in as the underdogs.
Exactly. But we'll wait and see for what they're gonna do in January. With a few of the right decisions being made, I think they can get out of the situation that they're in. But they need to act quick.
Of course. And right now, I think for players on the outside looking at this Fiorentina situation, they have an excuse to go somewhere, and where the morale is down, and almost emerge as heroes and go down in cult history. in folklore.
I guess.
You know,
I guess.
Someone needs to step up, and clearly in this team right now, there's no one who is capable of doing so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think before they talk about this whole overhaul they're doing in January, I still don't think that this manager is the man for the job. I don't.
Vanoli.
I don't think Vanoli has what it takes to come in for Pioli, who hasn't won a game yet for Fiorentina, someone that has won the league before Pioli.
I read
you
that
you bring in Vanoli to clean up Pioli's mess.
I read that they're in contacts with Iacchini. Iacchini is the relegation expert formerly of Sassuol.
Yeah. Let's pull up the Udinese.
Yeah, so
my opinion hasn't changed from watching
it would have still been harsh because his arm is dangling by the side of his body. But I can see why it's frustrating because the shot is going goal bound, right?
It's like it hits his body and his arm at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. At least we have a replay. There we go. Viewer on YouTube.
No, that doesn't change my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, shall we?
Let's do it.
Because I'm a Nigerian girl.
Wisdom with the wank. This week we're not going to tell you to stop wanking. It's the Christmas period, and if you want to take a wank, you take a wank. If you're in Malta and you have the influenza and you want to take a wank, take a wank.
Go for it, man. Why not?
Wisdom with the wank. No, that's not
it.
That's not the quote.
We've got a quote here, a new one. Babe, wake up! A new Simeon wank post has just dropped, and it's unavailable. I'll have to send them a screenshot.
Yes, I'll send you a screenshot right now.
Excellent.
Shit, I was gonna find it by going on the messages I sent to you. No,
but you can still access it from there. Yeah.
Oh my god, man.
I wonder what this is gonna be like. How bad is the coughing, Nick?
It was like you could hear it.
You could hear it.
Away.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Fuck it.
I
This
mean-
one's for the real ones.
Exactly.
We're not gonna get any new listeners, I think, through this, bro.
I don't think so.
People are gonna be like, oh, these guys are
Nick
disgusting.
Nick will be making a snippet, and all of a sudden we start coughing up a lung. All right, I have sent it.
There it is. Feel free to share the browser on WhatsApp. Fuck it.
Yeah, why
there
not?
it is.
All right. So, firstly,
I like
looking
your hat.
fucking fly,
Yeah.
dog. Like
Love the drip.
that's a look. Trackies, simple, but whatever.
6'6". Can you imagine the size of those pants?
Okay. I kept my faith, and grace paved the way. Just keep the faith and keep moving with kindness, and in silence, and grace will find you.
Who is Grace?
Who is Grace, Simi? Is it Grace who married Tommy Shelby and, spoiler alert, got killed at her wedding? Or is it Grace as in the grace of God? Simi. That's what we're talking about, the grace of God over here. Because what Simi did, this is what Simi did. Let's take this back a notch. He kept his faith. Simi kept his faith. His faith was there. He's like, I'm keeping this. And then grace paved the way because he kept his faith. So grace was like, he's keeping his faith. Let me pave the way. As his way was paved, he just kept the faith and he didn't become an ass about it. He moved with kindness and in silence as well. And then you know what? After grace paved the way, she found him.
That's beautiful, man.
She found him.
That's beautiful.
And that's enough to bring tears to your eyes.
I kept my faith and grace paved the way.
I don't get it.
Just keep the faith and keep moving with kindness and in silence. Keep moving in kindness and in silence, and grace will find you. So,
I'm trying my hardest to get it.
I think I'm not intelligent enough to understand this, to be honest, Simi.
Because what's confusing me is the re-mention of grace. That's where I'm getting confused. Because grace paved the way. And then, so, if you keep your faith, what he's saying is, if you keep your faith, grace will pave the way. So grace found you already. So why do you need to keep moving with kindness and in silence so that then grace will find you?
This one makes no sense, Simi.
Can't you just keep the faith?
This one makes no sense.
Ah! I get it.
You got it.
I get it.
Do you get it, Nick?
I get it.
You get it?
I get it. He's not making... This isn't a sequence of events. The first part is the second part as well. He's saying, I kept my faith and grace paved the way. Let me elaborate. Just keep the faith. Here he says, I kept the faith and grace paved the way. Let's take it back. Keep the faith. Keep the faith. Keep moving with kindness and in silence, and grace will find you. He could have left the beginning part out. You know when you have in maths when there's the same number at the top, the same number at the bottom, you can just chop them off and write a 1.
Yeah.
Simi could have done that. He could have just keep the faith and keep moving with kindness and in silence, and grace will find you. That would have been perfect. I got it though.
Bro, I'm Simi. Take my photo.
1 sec. I'm not looking yet. That's a shot, bro. We'll send this to the patrons. Become a patron.
Yes, to see the photo.
For $3.99 a month.
All right. I don't have the energy for the next segment.
I don't. Let's
skip
end it here.
Okay.
Sorry if you listened. I'm unwell and I need to shit.
You're not shitting in my house.
I'm not shitting in your house. No, I'm
Go
shitting at home. Yeah, in the spare bathroom.
Alright.
Whatever. Guys, thank you if you listened this far. Apologies again for the state of us, but we couldn't miss another week.
No,
we couldn't do it.
Happy New Year. This is our last episode of Big 2025. What a year it's been. Thank you very much for listening, and if you've made it this far, we love you. See you soon, guys.
See you.
If you like Serie A or have ever liked it in the past, it's a good opportunity for you to listen once a week and you'll get filled in.
The football weekend, that's like the main dish. But then a few days later, you drop your episode and that's like the dessert. And the dessert is just perfect.
It's good, the cake.
It makes it feel like we're all sitting in a room together, just BSing with each other.
The atmosphere is fantastic.
I promise nobody will ask you to send boob pics.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
I love how you go into so much detail and show so much passion towards each and every team. Literally, no team is left undiscussed.
When I listen to you, it's like I'm talking to you in a pub. It's like I'm chatting to a friend and you're chatting to me.